course, let me know what your availability is, and it's certainly something that could be coordinated. And I suppose, without further ado, let's get into the games. CPL, Fat Reaver versus Kix. How did I get featured? I got featured because I casted a lot. Same reason, I guess, Sale and a couple other guys. At least that's my understanding. I hope it wasn't for play, because I'm not strong enough to be featured based on play. In the top right-hand corner, as our purple Protoss, we have Fat Reaver. And in the bottom left-hand corner, as the teal Terran, we have INS Kix. Kix is on my team, which gets a little crazy to say. And he is a solid C- Terran. Honestly, to be fair, I don't think I've seen anybody new get featured in the last like 2 or 3 years. It's like they stopped featuring anybody, because I know I've seen a few foreign players that have reached a pretty high level and have not necessarily been featured, and I've been kind of surprised. I was like, that guy's pretty good. He should probably be featured rather than not featured. And in the top right-hand corner, as our purple Protoss, we have Fat Reaver, also known as Arctimes. Peruvian Protoss faces off against, I don't know what nationality, Kix. I'm pretty sure he's European, though, if I recall his time zones correctly. But Fat Reaver is a C- level Protoss who, despite being Peruvian, is not really that Peruvian. He can certainly play macro games reasonably comfortably and does so often. And Kix, honestly, it's been a while since I've seen his play, despite him being a teammate. We almost never get to practice together because we're just different time zones, and I have school and work at the times when Europeans can actually like hang out. So, I don't know. I know in TVZ he used to always do Vulture drop into mech, but I think he's diversified that quite a bit, and I have no ideas about his TVP. Stardom saying Kix is from the UK. And the Oreo is in my mouth. And the probe is out scouting around, as is the SCV. We have the gas on the way, barracks as well, so everything looks reasonably normal at this point. Nobody obviously going for any sort of super cheesy builds. No gateways in the middle, no BBS. But what we see, I mean, it is reverse ramp, so 2-gate type pressure is an option. 10-15 would still technically be an option at this point here for Fat Reaver, and it can be a little bit of an annoying build on Jade. Perhaps not quite as strong as on a map like, say, Longinus or Tau Cross. Oh, what did I say? What did I say? 10-15 might be an option, and he actually does a 10-15 gate. I feel slightly clairvoyant right now. And Kix is going to go ahead and start getting his factory, and I am going to tab off of this for a second because my OBS is on the bottom of my screen and driving me crazy because I can see all my movements mirrored in OBS. Nice positioning here of the buildings from Kix, gives him plenty of space to work with against Zealots, really easy to defend. Probe is going to do a little bit of harassing, but hey, Marine is popping out right now, going to go kill this probe. And the second gateway about done. And we're going to have a lot of fast Dragoons on the way. Of course, the thing that makes 10-15 gate reasonably strong on Jade is the feature of this ramp. As you guys can see, it is a reverse ramp. So, Terran hanging out on the low ground is a little more vulnerable because they'll be taking half damage. So normally Terran, to deal with that, does just kind of come out immediately to the high ground. However, that works pretty nice, but when you suddenly have a bunch of really fast Dragoons, then it can get a little bit slippery. But fortunately for Kix, this has been scouted with his SCV, and if he's paying close attention, he should be pretty aware of the fact this is 10-15. Given the oddly fast gateway timing, it's usually not too hard to notice. That and the fact that I wasn't paying close attention to when his SCV arrived, but if his SCV arrived reasonably early, then he'd be well aware of the fact that there was probe cutting happening. And we can see he's taking it pretty seriously. He's going to low ground bunker. In fact, the Dragoon is already here. You can see Stardom doesn't even want any part of engaging that with the ramp advantage, pulling those Marines back, just trying to buy time for his tank. However, he has quite a long time to wait before that tank is done. And then the other concern at this point for Kix would be the Dragoon run by. I mean, he's got this nice bunker, but with 3 Dragoons, if Fat Reaver opts to him, and he could just run by the bunker if Kix is not ready with SCVs, and then cause a whole lot of problems in the base. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He's just going right by. There are 5 Marines out, though, so a lot of Marines. Dragoons are out. Do we have range yet? It is very close. Okay, now he has range. He's got 1 at the bunker. He should really pull it back out of range of the bunker. I don't particularly love the control so far from arc times, but he has killed a few of the Marines, although he has done little damage to the tank, and Kix is handling this pretty calmly, doing a good job repairing, and of course there's only 1 Dragoon in his base at this point. Feeling confident enough, in fact, to lift off the barracks. Remember, he does still have the 4 Marines in the bunker, and now with just 1, Fat Reaver can't really attempt a run-by. Second tank on the way. Command center started in the main, and honestly, looking pretty good for Kix right now. I mean, there's only 2 Dragoons here, not that threatening. Trying to bunker up on the high ground, immediately forced to cancel. Gonna pick off a few SCVs, should be able to stop the scout from going out. There we go. And at some point, I think we're going to need to see an expansion here, or I guess maybe we're going to see some tech from Fat Reaver. He's going to transition from 1015 into some sort of Reaver or DT situation. But looking pretty comfortable, pretty safe for Kix at this point. Looks like he's got, probably already has mines, unless he went for siege first, because he's getting vulture speed. So it makes me think he's got mines. Now sieging up here on the low ground. 4 Marines in that bunker. Don't really think these Dragoons can cause any real damage at this point. And indeed, he is going to go ahead and throw up a Nexus, this probe here. Just hanging out to fake us out. And, oh, nice. Okay, so he's going to be able to take those Dragoons all the way off the high ground. Has these tanks here on the low ground. Almost threatening, but look at that. That is nice siege positioning from Kix. It's worth noting he did not go siege all the way. Oh, be careful. Fat Reaver, a little bit of a mistake with that Dragoon, unfortunately. He didn't siege all the way against the cliff, right? Had he siege all the way against the cliff, then Fat Reaver could run in here and spread his Dragoons and do a pretty good job against these tanks. Probably kill all 3 of them from the high ground. But positioned back like this, the Dragoons can go over here and can't shoot at the tanks. So kudos to him for good tank positioning. That's something to take note of. If you're Terran and you play on this map and have trouble with aggressive Dragoon builds, think carefully about your sieging positions, because it can make a pretty big difference. Looks like Command Center is up for Kix, so Kix is going to be getting his expansion up a little bit sooner than Fat Reaver, who does need a probe transfer here at some point, or he's just going to be putting himself more behind. Alright, there we go. Some probes heading out towards the base. Looks like 32 SCVs from Kix, 27 from Fat Reaver. No surprises there. Protoss does cut SCVs to do a 1015 gate, so mines are on the map. Like I said, I thought he had mines, and vultures heading out now, speed kicking in, and I think we should see some siege start up. Oh no, he's already got siege, never mind. And more Dragoons running down. Looks like Fat Reaver's game plan here is to just stay on this high ground pod. And, well, I like having map presence. I'm not sure I totally love this decision because of this right here. He doesn't really know what Kix has made, and if Kix had made, 2 vultures is a little bit of a problem, but if Kix had made like 5 or 6 vultures and would be running in here right now, Fat Reaver would be about to lose a ton of probes. All as it is, he's already going to have to deal with these Dragoons. He hasn't noticed them, so that is really unfortunate for him, as those were his reinforcements. He still has no idea these Dragoons are in here. So a little bit rough for Fat Reaver right now on the minimap awareness, as the vultures have been allowed to run in here and do a bunch of damage. Dragoons coming back. They're going to eat a few mines now. Saving grace, Kix did not have or did not lay a lot of mines, but he's already gotten quite a few vulture kills. Looks like 3 on this one and 4 on this one. So probe kills. Already killed 7. That makes it 8. So this is a very damaging vulture drop. Needs to stop targeting the Nexus. Finish off those gas probes. That's now 9 probe kills for these 2 vultures. Make that 10. And they are just on a terrorist run. We can see the economy for Fat Reaver down to 24. Are they going to go into the natural and get even more probe kills? Oh, man. Oh, he's running into the minerals, though. And Arc Time's quickly pulling the probes, and that should be the end of terrorist vultures. Yes. But 10 probe kills, an awful lot of damage this early in the game. The already tender economy of Fat Reaver is now just ravaged. We can see 25. Kix, I think, is over 40 at this point. Really poor economy, and that's starting to be reflected in the supply differences now. Protoss has only 58 supply to Terran 76. Kix rolling away on 5 factories, getting his next command center up. Arctimes is taking command center, but again, we can see Kix is basically on the same expansion timings with a vastly superior worker count. Neither player with an exceptionally huge army. And most concerningly here for Arctimes is 3 gateways and only Robotech. If you're going to play on less gateways than Terran has factories, you better have a tech advantage or know your expansion timings and know that you're about to put down a bunch of gateways and get back into the macro game. But unfortunately, neither of those things exist for Arctimes, and Kix is going to run another Vulture in. Looks like he'll pick up another probe kill or 2, and oh, Arctime's still a little bit slow to react. That's 2, and the probes are a little bit slow to run. That makes 3 kills. So yeah, Arctimes is just not able to get an economy. I think we're about to see double SCVs here pretty soon from Kix. He loses just a few more to these Vultures. You can see he is macroing fine, but he just cannot afford to put down more than 3 gateways. I mean, Kix can basically do a 5-fac that's accompanied with an expansion and full tech at this point. You missed a good defense of 10-15 gate and Vultures wreaking absolute havoc upon innocent Protoss. Actually, I lied. Protoss are never really innocent. I say this too as a former Protoss player myself. Protoss are never really quite innocent. Alright, so third base on the way out for Kix. And Fat Reaver now with 3 Nexus has been probing up a little bit better, but the economy is still pretty fragile. Finally able to add on a few more gateways, but only 4 at this point. As Evil Eye professes his undying love to me, and I will accept it deeply into my soul. Or I guess he just thinks I'm the best. He's actually in love with Faust. So Faust gets his undying love, I just get his undying praise. I'm gonna ban Evil Eye from L-Master tournaments just to mess with his mind. But I thought we were cool with each other. Why did he ban me? Alright, so we're getting 5, 6 gateways. And a Temple Archives. Are we getting a Stargate? Oh, Kix lighting up looking for a 4th base, but it's not there yet. Vultures sneaking past Dragoons on this side, and of course running up this way. And Kix running Vultures all over the map right now. But Evil Eye is sitting nicely on top of this high ground ridge. Quite a few goons here. He does have this pylon walled off, and he does have some goons for defense over at the 3rd base. I really like that because the Vultures could slip up here and would not be able to be blocked. Certainly not a big enough army to just occupy the entire pod, and that allows him to defend this a little better, even moving his goons into position. So nice goon movements here from Fat Reaver, and this should prevent overly significant amounts of damage from being done by these Vultures, although he's got to be careful of the mine! Oh, Jesus. I just said that, and then the mine went nuts, and there goes the economy at the 3rd base. So, Fat Reaver again is back into dead pro level. And at this point, Kix is now, again, pretty close to double the economy right now of Arctimes, who is probably just crying. He probably should have transferred the other direction, seeing those mines, but oh shit. Oh shit, look at that. Oh no, if this Dragoon so much as flinches the wrong direction. And it looks like Observer sees it, but Kix is gathering up, and he's feeling pretty confident. Oh man, Fat Reaver needs to get the heck out of here. I'm not sure what kind of defense he's going to muster, but he certainly can't afford to be losing these goons, but I think Kix can just chase them down. You can see he is going to draw his army away. He will not get his day ruined by this mine. However, he's just got such a small army against the 150 supply of Kix. No real tech to speak of with that army yet. Templar are not out. I don't see signs of it. He's getting a Stargate, but he doesn't have Arbiter tech here anywhere. And interestingly, Kix is just kind of chilling, cruising through the middle, perhaps not aware of just how ahead he is. Sometimes that's hard to feel. You're never confident. Even when you scan Protoss's army, you're always wondering, well, what if he's got a control group over here that I haven't seen? You know, so he's just going to kind of take his time, work his way through the center of the map over here, which is wonderful for Arctimes, who's going to have the extra minute to start getting out a little bit more of an army. He's certainly not going to have any chance of Arbiter Tech for this fight, but every moment he can get is arguably nice for him. Of course, it is worth noting that every minute that goes by, Kix' army is also growing in size. But I think Arctimes needs a little bit bigger of an army to at least have a chance of capitalizing on a horrible mistake from Kix. And in some respect, I actually like this slow push from Kix, because a well set up Terran army is almost impossible to win the first fight against. And Kix is so far ahead that, you know, even giving Fat Reaver this extra time, it's not a big deal. Because Kix is already, like, ridiculously far ahead. Like, it's not like there's 4th and 5th bases mining and gateways getting set up elsewhere. So in this situation, this really slow push is just ensuring he has a great first push, which is exactly what Fat Reaver needs to not have happen. Like, he needs to completely have this army just get wrecked and be free to take a 4th and 5th base without fear. But with the setup that Kix has, that's unlikely to happen at this point. See, he does have a 1-0 upgrade, so that part's nice, and now he's going for it. This might be the engagement of the game. Vulture's a bit far out in front, but again, these Zealots are almost completely gone, and it leaves only a few Dragoons against a whole bunch of tanks trying to shuttle bomb. Does drop one, but this is just not enough. Dragoons need to pull back, but he might just be fighting and going for it here, and there it is, GG. Just a little too much early damage. Those initial Vultures getting in, taking out 10 probes off the already frail 10-15 economy. A little too much for Fat Reaver to overcome, and Kix will take game number 1. So, it looks like Arctimes has chosen Overwatch. Spawning in the bottom right-hand position as the green Protoss, we have Arctimes, aka Fat Reaver. And in the top left-hand corner, as the purple Terran from team, we have INS Kix. What does INS stand for, Kix? I'm legitimately curious, and I, to overuse the word, legitimately don't know. And that is legitimately an Oreo. Part of a healthy dinner. Actually, at least the rest of my dinner was healthy, but the Oreos are not. Now, Overwatch, 2-player map, has bridges outside of the natural, like right here, opening to a 3rd base over here. We'll show you guys the whole map. There's the bridge, so very, very narrow, difficult to get out of entrance this way, but if you head in the other direction, then you have access over here to this double ramp, high ground 3rd, and then up over this bridge out into the center of the map, where you can fight some battles, and then a 4th over here. We're getting some interesting opinions here. Apparently INS is both a cat and inferior noob squadron. Probe is on the way. It's out pretty early too. I wonder if he wants to gas steal. I think it might have just been a pylon probe, but it was definitely, yeah, I think he does want a gas steal. Oh, no, he doesn't. Okay, no gas steal. You can see Kix was calm. He was not too worried about having his gas stolen. He didn't rush to take the gas when he saw the probe heading up that way. They're kind of early. So either feeling confident or not feeling like he really needs, is really worried about having his gas stolen in this particular game. Because sometimes you will see Terran, if they have a plan in mind, and especially don't want their gas stolen, you will see them just go ahead and rush for the gas and take the gas a little bit before anything else to prevent the steal from the probe. It is viable under certain circumstances, depending on your plans as a Terran player. And Cybernetics Core started here for Fat Reaver. This time it is obviously not a 10-15 gate. First Marine out should be able to chase the scouting probe away here shortly. It'll be interesting to see if Fat Reaver decides to just leave or if he's going to let the probe die, which it looks like he is at this point. Some Protosses do like to just leave and kind of keep their probe hanging out around the natural so they can see when or if Terran moves out at a later time. Oh, actually, looks like this probe is going to get away by just one shot. So now we'll see if Fat Reaver sends it home or if he's going to leave it out here, like around the bridge area. Kick's still doing a little bit of scouting with that SCV, and we can see that Fat Reaver is not making a Dragoon in this gateway. So it looks like he's probably doing no Goon Nexus. Oh, I didn't know there was a nice little one hex path. Like that's, I'm guessing probably a Dragoon or something like that doesn't fit through there. Only the small guys can. Saving up. Oh, okay. His probe is gonna make the Nexus with this. Yes, he's gonna do no Goon Nexus. Variant of the 21 next build, just with 3 Dragoons at FD timing instead of 4. Yeah, kicks won game 1. His initial vultures did some terrorist stuff. Killed a lot of probes, like 10 probes. And then later on there was a mine that killed like another 10 probes. There's a lot of dead probes for arc times in game 1. And Dragoon walking down the ramp. In fact, 2 Dragoons and 2 more will be on the way. Range about to finish up, and Kix is starting his command center in the main base. That's a little bit interesting, especially since he was able to observe completely the build of Fat Reaver. I mean, let's face it, in the base, command center is obviously a little bit safer, but it will delay your CC timing by a good solid 15-20 seconds. As it has to lift and then slowly drag its weight ever so down. So range done, and I'm really curious to see how Arctimes wants to play from here. I mean, he has shown that he does not have a problem playing Macram, so he is getting a Robo facility. Which most likely is just going to him playing standard and grabbing obs and going to check out the evil plans of Kix. He could still go Reaver, but man, would that be some very, very delayed scouting. 2 tanks out for Kix, so this is going to be strong FD. And of course going to follow up with some vultures behind it, and it looks like he does want to push with it. It looks like it. I say that. It looks like it. And I'll be honest, strong FD is pretty good against this particular kind of build. As strong FD against 6 goons is pretty comfortable situation for Terran if you have decent micro. But the fact that he's waited here this long makes me think that nah, he's just going to the bridge, make sure Protoss is running across, lay some mines, and be safe. Kick saying that his SCV left the base before. Your SCV was like sitting right here. I saw it sitting right here where the Nexus going. You didn't even come back in to look for it. Either way, Kick's saying he didn't see the Nexus. Yeah, you're right. It did seem a little bit on the slow side for strong FD, so I guess it wasn't like an optimized opening. Of course, if you really want to make a terrifying strong FD, you can do 10 rags, 10 gas, and then you'll have this super ridiculously fast, terrifying strong FD. Strong FD is scary enough as it is, but with that optimization, it's even scarier. A few good movements here from Fat Reaver trying to tickle out if there's any vultures on the map, and there are, but just sort of laying some mines on common Protoss paths. And this time we can see much quicker arc times, already at 4 gateways plus the Citadel, and this time it is Kix with 3 factories instead of Kix with already 6 factories, a bunch of tech, and an almost finished 3rd command center. So arc time's obviously in a much better initial position than before. Just ever so fractionally ahead on probes as well. And judging from the fact that Kix is still on 3 factories, we are likely to see a macro game from Kix, starting to throw down some initial scans. We're going to go ahead and see him take a 3rd base here reasonably soon, as it would be a little bit too late at this point to throw down a boatload of factories and go for some sort of timing attack. I mean, Fat Reaver is already powering away on 4 gateways, has his leg speed, pretty much has everything you could want. In fact, he even has vision now, which was sort of the last missing piece of the puzzle for him. eBay for kicks so we can get a turret or two, having seen that obs, and there is the SCV heading out that I predict will be making a command center. We'll see. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's going to make command center. Dragoon's moving over and clearing out some mines as Fat Reaver takes his third. So again, very similar expansion timings for both players, and that is usually a comfortable position for Terran to be in. A little less comfortable as Protoss when Terran is right there with you on economy. One of the nicest things when you're playing Protoss is when you have a good enough economy that you can go ahead and get up, 4 or 5 bases and like 8-10 gates in your main and another 5-8 gates in another base before Terran attacks, because then you can macro like crazy from both sides and have a lot more options to defend pushes and stuff. Whereas if you are maxing right about as Terran is maxing and he pushes out when you're only sort of on 3 bases and not really established, it comes a lot faster and feels a lot scarier here. Much more of like a oh my god, I need to win this fight right now or I'm gonna be in so much trouble kind of feeling. Observer's in, so he's going to get to see exactly the timing of these factories. We can see Kix is, definitely doing a good job macroing. He's only a few supply behind Fat Reaver, and I would say anytime you're within 20 supply, like less than 20 supply down to Protoss, you're doing something right with your macro. There's Arbiter Tribunal, so pretty nice tech timing from Fat Reaver. I do appreciate that. He will be able to have several ARBs in his army long before he maxes out. So another mistake I sometimes see newer Protoss players make is they're like, okay, yeah, I need to macro. They get 4 or 5 bases. We got a good economy, and then they make like 15 gateways or whatever, and then they max out, and they forget about the Arbiter tech. And so they have this beautiful max army with no Arbiter tech. Which, if you really want to do some sort of like bizarre timing to like bust up a Terran's third or something, like, yeah, it can work, but if you're just maxing and getting a big and playing for a long economic game with Terran, you want those arbiters in your army. So if you get to a point where there's like, if you've got 190 supply, 185 supply, and you have no arbiters, just, you can add more gateways if you have a few extra excess minerals, but stop making units and make sure you get some arbiters in that army composition, or Terran's army will just be way too ridiculous. I mean, Kix, I think anybody prefers a Protoss that doesn't get Arbiters. Arbiters are strong, man. They're strong. One thing I will say I like from Kix, and we can highlight it by doing this here, so you can see he's got really nice vision right now of everything that's going on. There's nowhere that arc times can move that Kix is not at least a little bit aware of. So he's just very comfortably defending and waiting for his army to grow. Interestingly, Kix is actually starting to outsupply Fat Reaver ever so slightly. Really good macro right now. And kind of benchmarks you're looking for if the game is really passive, no trading of units, everybody just macroing up. Protoss with good expansion timings, good third base timing stuff can usually max out with decent tech somewhere around 12 to 1230. I would say anything slower than about 13 and a half for an uninterrupted macro game is a little on the slow side for Protoss. So it looks like they'll be both close to that timing. Now, of course, Kix is strong on the macro side right now. He looks like he's going to be hitting similar timings to Protoss. Yeah, Protoss definitely could have benefited from a quicker 4th base. The one exception to that rule might be if you just want to hit with a massive gateway attack as quickly as possible, then sometimes it can be worth it to not get the 4th base and just go for the fast 3rd and then just like macro like crazy. But that's sort of, I hesitate to call it all in, but it's pretty aggressive because you'll get a big, strong army and you'll attack with it. And if you don't immediately break Terran, then you're going to be left in this situation where you only have 3 bases. And on top of that, you will have really delayed your tech. So you can get a really strong timing out with an attack if it's a map that is open and lends itself to that, but your overall game, you'll definitely be sacrificing for an early mid-game attack rather than playing for a solid late game. And it looks like for the first time, Fat Reaver is starting to feel confident enough to move out onto the map a little bit. But I think just clearing some mines, kind of spreading his army out across the map a little bit. And yeah, I'm a little curious about this because he took a late third, and his supply, when I say his supply, Fat Reaver's supply is not as high as I would think. I mean, 1330, it's not particularly fast timing. I mean, he's not quite maxed. He really should be maxed even maybe a little bit ago, 20, 30 seconds ago, 45 seconds ago, with his full tech tree. I mean, his arbiter timing is fantastic. I love that. But maybe just a little bit weak on the probing and on the macro side of affairs here. Now Kix, I understand his economy being good, nice and quick. I mean, he took that third base really fast. And Kix now gonna go ahead and roll across the map. And by that I mean siege up, and Evil Eye hopefully is not going to attack this, as right now Kix is just sitting there all sieged up. That's like begging to attack. Should always wait for a turn to unsiege, especially in the first engagement. He's running up here and just hitting some mines. I don't think he's actually going to run in yet, and we can see he does pull his army back. Has gone ahead and maxed out. Should grab those reinforcements here fairly soon and bring them up towards his main army. Has put down a second Stargate, although he is not queuing anything in it at the moment. So we have what, 1-1 for Kix, 1-0 for arc times. Kix upgrading very nicely. And taking a fourth base. And both players right now just kind of, neither one of them wants to commit to anything. They're both sort of just feeling each other out, waiting to see what happens. I didn't see the initial timing of Kix's armories, but I do like... oh, we're going to have a recall. It is over here at the natural. And there is nothing here to defend, at least initially, so definitely going to get a few initial SCV kills. And we'll probably need to lift the Nexus off, but we'll see what he focuses on. Siege tanks immediately sieging up. Some vultures coming back, and there are a few mines here at the top of the ramp, and it looks like this will get cleaned up reasonably easy. Just a couple Dragoons left, but if they try to run up here, they are going to be running into a lot of mines. So yeah, he's going to be able to chase this down quite easily. Just 2 Dragoons left. Vultures and tanks helping to finish this off. And honestly, I'm going to say that was not a very effective recall for Fat Reaver. Kix was unfortunately just in too good of a position, too close for that to really do anything. And I mean, yeah, he killed 10 SCVs, but basically didn't get anything out of the units outside of that. And now Kix sort of recollecting his army, moving down here towards the 7 o'clock base, but so is the army of Arc Times. Stasis goes down, getting a few tanks, and nice storm on the front tank, so good army control so far from Arc Times, who is looking solid at this point in time, beating back that army from Kix without too much difficulty. A lot of units still left, definitely going to keep running up here, getting these tanks. Maybe chasing a little too far at this point, although he does have a few reinforcements on the way. The more reinforcement zealots he can bring up, the more he can afford to do this. He will need to pivot back at some point to pick up those stasis units. And while Kix's pushing was not perfect, I have to give some credit right there to Fat Reaver for his control. I mean, his control in the attack was good. He had the zealots nicely out in front. I hit really smart storms and stasis. Obviously, Kix could have been set up better. Could have had a vessel. Could have EMP'd, you know, and dealt with some of those things. But that was well controlled from Arc Times, who is now running up here under the high ground pod with a high tempo, throwing down a storm on these two, actually on this one tank. And now it looks like he's going to swing around, but oh, he's eating some mines. Got to be a little bit more careful than that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 factories here for Kix. He should have his second upgrade. Let's see if he went quickly to his third. Yeah, very good attention to upgrades here from Kix. But does he have enough army to hold on? 4 or 5 tanks here on the low ground trying to defend Protoss with mostly Dragoons and only a few Zealots, but there are continuing to be really solid storms here from Fat Reaver, and especially fighting on the high ground. It looks like Kix's Dragoons might just be enough to break up this location at the moment. Tank coming in from the backside, unfortunately getting picked off. Still a few Zealots in the mix, and forward marches Arctimes, doing a lot of damage to the army of Kix. That last tank should fall at some point. Oh, he's going to run up here, though, and this could be risky. Especially if he doesn't run onto the tanks, that might be the last bit of his standing army. It looks like it is. He might get a tank kill out of this. Trying to get perfectly on top of the tanks. Does get one kill, and some reinforcements at a good timing. And he's sending a wave of Zealots over here towards this. Actually, no, they're coming into this base, so he's completely shut down mining at the third base of Kix. You can see some vultures laying mines over here under the harassment of an Arbiter, but especially if he can swing around and prevent mining at the 7 or 3 o'clock base, 2 o'clock base, whatever the heck you want to call that. Arctimes will be in a commanding position at this point. Kix will be in a demanding position where he'd have to play very, very well to get back into it. Kix does have the fortune of playing Terran in that if you defend well, hold a major engagement, and then re-expand, you can often get back into the games. However, with the way Arctimes is playing right now, that might be easier said than done. And actually, it looks like Fat Reaver's just going for the killing blow right now here, charging in on the tanks, and there's only tanks here, so this might work. Well, if only the rest of his army was coming. Unfortunately, half of his army sits back and does nothing, so the attack goes from potentially dangerous to something less effective. And Kix has regathered here at his natural decent-sized army. He's done a good job macroing up. I mean, he has relanded this base, and let's remember, he still has 5 bases. I mean, once he relands his command center, he's technically in a better economic position than is Arctimes, because he does have a few more SCVs, and he does have this 5th base even to mine from. It would be nice to see Arctimes denying these 2 bases. Let's face it, that's a bit of an error from Arctimes. Could just be awareness, might not be aware that Kix has those bases, but I mean, he had Kix all the way pinned, defending in the natural. Would not have been hard to send 3 or 4 Zealots to each of these 2 bases and shut down the mining for a little while. Now Arbiter's coming in, Kix goes for an EMP, but it's a bit late on the one, but I think he hits the... No, one Arbiter still has energy. Does he have another one? No, he doesn't throw one down. And it looks like Arctimes is looking to just muscle his way up here onto the high ground pod under the power of his Arbiters, and right now he's doing a fine job of it. Quite a few Dragoons still left in that army, although here come the reinforcement tanks right now, and Arctimes does not quite have enough to break through this at the moment, but if he reinforces, especially if he can pull all these units, it might be a different story. Only downside for Kix is he is sieging on the low ground. Maybe should have considered sieging the tanks back here a little bit further, and with the reinforcement coming, it looks like Kix is about to lose control of this position. Fighting with everything on siege right now. Now sieges up the tanks, but there are no mines on. One Dragoon walking forward, but here come the reinforcements. Very good time, right as the tank's on stasis. You literally couldn't have timed that better. Reinforcements just a little bit later, and Kix might have established that position and gained control of it again, but it is not happening right now. Arctimes is flooding in units, and interestingly enough, decides to back away from the Terran for half a sec, before then coming back. Does send a few Zealots up here. Finally has sent a Zealot over to this base. Still doesn't seem to know about the base over at 3 o'clock. And oh man, big mines going off, killing a lot of the Zealots, but killing a lot of the Vultures as well. And again, that base completely shut down. And let's not forget, a Zealot was being annoying here. Over in the mineral line, I think Kix has just now noticed that he has some SCVs to attack it. But of course, we can see the full army from Arctimes migrating over here to this base, and Kix is going to have to lift it up and run. Now, is this an Arbiter? No, it's just a Zealot. Would have been cool if he was going to go for some recall into the main now. And unfortunately for Kix, things are looking very, very grim right now. His economy is down to just 1. Oh, here we go. Arbiter's found it. Will he recall over here, or will he just run over here with some of his army? Either way, headed down to shut down the base. Looks like he's going to bring his army in the meantime. Kix is going to do a little bit of counter Vulture Raz. Cannon not done, so should get some good probe kills, although Arctimes is paying attention and will run those probes away. Kix is going to shoot down the cannon. Should have a few defending Dragoons come over here at some point. Looks like Vultures want to chase down these probes And while he is getting all these probe kills, he is also losing his command center. And now Kix is not mining, so the situation looks very bad. Very, very bad. Protoss in control of all of the bases, and really all Kix has left is this relatively small army here in the top. It'll be interesting to see if he just goes for one last push, probably not, or just tries to turtle over and defend the third one last time. But at this point, I think either strategy is looking pretty doomed. Just a few recalls on this army, good recalls or bad recalls, would basically thin it out. And if he goes for the attack, I think it's just going to get pummeled, as the supply for Fat Reaver is huge, comparatively speaking. So we can see Kix is clearing out the third, but at the same time, I mean, he's got some beautiful mines up here on this ridge, but at the same time, Fat Reaver is starting to charge through with a few Dragoons, doing a nice job keeping some of the Dragoons and Zealots in reserve as he lets these Zealots clear out the mines. A very well played game so far from Fat Reaver. Is he going to go in here and go for it? I think he will soon. Oh man, he's got a huge army. Well, his probe count is low, so that's why. This is a very large Protoss army. This is probably like five and a half control groups or something like that, even with these Arbiters. So this is about to be a major attack here from Fat Reaver. Will Kix have enough to hold it? Oh man, he's not sieged. He is moving away from the high ground, which I absolutely love, but he's trying to hit a few stasis. A recall onto these tanks could have been interesting with this attack too, but instead it's just going to be a big stasis, and that leaves really only one or two tanks here defending, and I just can't see it holding off the huge army from Fat Reaver, who looks like he is breaking through Kix for the final time in this game. I think Kix is about on his last legs looking for a desperate defense, but he doesn't have it. And GG. Arc Times ties this series up 1-1. Whoop. Dark Matter says, my fallen brother. Oh, sorry, I missed your units getting stuck, but in the top right-hand corner, as the white Terran, we have INS Kix. In the bottom left-hand corner, as the purple Protoss, we have Arc Times, aka Fat Reaver. What do you think I'm eating, Evil Eye? The same thing I've eaten in between both of the last two games. An unhealthy Oreo cookie. So Kix, after a little bit of sloppy army control in that second game, is going to be looking for something a little bit better in this game, or maybe his token Vulture Harass of Doom. Oreos are biscuits? Oh, you're UK. No wonder you said biscuits. First I was like, you know, being from the US, I'm like biscuits. Like biscuits to us mean like bread, like bread rolls or whatever. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, I won't lie. I won't lie, Evil Eye. Of all of the types of poison you can put in your body, Oreos are among the best. Definitely not quite as good as the poison known as Dr. Pepper, but they're up there for sure. Get out of here, you Brit. Drivers on the left-hand side of the road doing weird things. That's something I would love to experience. Like, I love to drive. I'm comfortable with driving, but I honestly have to think it would be pretty disorienting my first few times trying to get used to driving on the left-hand side of the road and thinking about how a few of the turns would be different. Like, it wouldn't be hard to just drive on the left side of the road, but like a big intersection would be like... Let's see here. I will, since this game is going, I will get you a picture of what I think of like the stereotypical biscuit as. Let's see what happens if I just Google search for biscuit. The funny thing is, as I do this, I think this still shows you guys Brood War. Alright, here we go. We're gonna link. I really hope my own bot bans me. That would be fucking hilarious. Alright, so That is like what I think of as like the stereotypical American biscuit. Okay, he's taking an SCV off gas. Well, I guess that makes sense. You do take 2 off gas most of the time if you're FDing. Probe is going to do a little bit of harassing to the SCV's mining gas. Chips Ahoy is like, it's like Oreo cookie. Like Oreo is like a style of cookie from Nestle. Chips Ahoy is like another brand. It's another lineage of cookies, like Oreos are. Oh yeah, you're right. FD is 2 on gas. This is 1 on gas, so it would be a little more like Siege Expand. Although, okay, we're having some idle SCV troubles here. This probe has been sufficiently annoying to cause a few idle SCVs. You know, like, on the one hand, all these foods are good. Like, I mean, they taste good, but on the other hand, it's kind of depressing that all these foods that we like are the ones that are, like, literally poison. I mean, legitimately, you know, all the, like, you know, compared to something like, you know, blueberries or strawberries or whatever, you know? But, I mean, there's no denying it. It might be delicious, but junk food, true junk food, things like cookies, sodas, I mean, it's legit poison. It's anti-nutritional. I don't know what else you can fairly call it other than poison. Delicious poison, but definitely poison. If healthy food, there's a problem with cost with healthy food, but I think healthy food does taste great. I mean, when I sit there and think about it, I don't really think that like Oreos are that much tastier than blueberries. In fact, honestly, if I was completely whatever and you just gave me the choice, I'd probably just eat blueberries or strawberries or any of those kind of things. But I think because the sugar content is so high, it's like more addictive. It's like, you know, when you get like a craving or a binge, you reach for Oreos rather than like fruits because they're so unnaturally high in sugar and you're just craving the sugar. Like, when I stop to think about it, at any point I'm like, oh, actually, yeah, I'd probably rather eat strawberries than Oreos, but it's like the sugar, you know. You know, corporations are smart, man. They realize that if they load this shit with sugar, it's pretty addictive, and we'll all buy it. And we certainly all do buy it. They are higher in sugar. I don't know if I would say that. I mean, when you realize you can eat, like, you know, an entire bowl of blueberries and it'll have like 100 calories. Those blueberries are delicious. Blueberries are disgusting. You gotta get out of here. It's like the most superior of all berries. It's like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries. But all of those foods are like god tier foods. Actually, I can't tell what build you're doing right now, Kix. I guess you're doing Siege Expand. If you're doing Siege Expand, you usually would do CC on 21 in the main base with like 1 Marine maybe, but with Siege Expand you want a wall. If you're not going to Siege Expand, then just go FD. Like, FD is way better though. I really don't understand the appeal of opening Siege Expand. FD is just so good. I don't feel any like there's any downsides to FD. I guess the one downside would be if Protoss does some like weird 2 or 3 gate with super fast obs. That maybe there's a situation where you could have trouble, but I just like it way better. You have mobility, you have mines for DTs, you've got map control. It's arguably a better economy. SCV comes across the bridge. Oh yeah, I definitely know about peeps. I mean, those are usually like an Easter only kind of thing, but definitely know about them. Definitely know about them. How do you mess up your macro? Oh, we got a sneaky pylon here, but oh no, wait, he's just walling. I forgot Fat Reaver likes to do this. He doesn't like the vultures coming in on both sides from this map, so he blocks off this side and just defends over here with a wall. But like, how can you mess up your macro doing FD? Like, you have 1 factory. I mean, that's like one of the cases of macro you can do in the middle of like, in the middle of just the most disastrous attack. I mean, you could have a Protoss that's like, you know, Reaver dropping you and you're microing against that, and you can still just go to your factory and press 4V or 4T or whatever. Yeah, Siege Expand is fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but I still feel like in almost every way it's not as good as FD. Like, I feel like FD does everything Siege Expand basically does, but better. I mean, I realize there's one or two builds that you could argue that Siege Expand is less or safer from, but overall, I don't know. FD's great. Observer arriving here for Fat Reaver and 3 factories on. Oh, we have a starport out here for kicks, and we have a dropship. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Vulture drop coming to the base. Does Fat Reaver know? He should know now. Yes, nice reaction. Much better reaction on the pro pull. Straight to the ramp to block it. And he's gonna go straight for the assassination of the dropship, and he's gonna get it. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, yeah, he is. Dropship flies over, so now we have 2 vultures in the base, dealing a little bit of damage here, but nice drill, as long as the mines don't explode him, and it looks like this time he is fine. That one is handled pretty well. Kick's still a little bit ahead in supply, but I have to give credit to Kicks. He does a very good job maintaining a steady SCV production. Clearly better than Arc Times in that regard, and he's almost always economically close to or ahead of Arc Times as a result of that. Yeah, what Sir said, you could definitely do a defensive FD without attacking if you're like not confident in your micro and it's still decent, but if you practice your micro, like, you can just outright win games with it. It's pretty nice. And in terms of messing it up, I don't know what you do wrong. If you're doing macro wrong, I mean, I feel like the only way you could possibly mess up macro with FD is if you just get in situations where you panic and totally forget to like go to your factory and press, you know, T. But with a factory hotkeyed nicely, it should be really easy. You know, if you're in the heat of the moment, you just press 4V. Like, you literally don't even have to stop microing. Oh, for getting depots? Yeah, okay, I guess there's something to be said for that. Because you do have to, depending on if you're fully attacking with FD, yeah, you'd probably have to build 2, maybe 3 depots during that time. Oh, nice vulture shielding here from Fat Reaver. And actually he's blocking these out really nicely, taking a lot of free hits. He's got a pylon wall here up, but he was a little slow to pull these vultures, but I think the damage is still going to be relatively minimum, especially since there aren't any probes over at this base that Kicks elected to go to. So Fat Reaver doing a nice job shutting down this vulture harass. Kicks getting nothing out of those vultures. Oh, we got double dropships here sitting at the natural for Kicks. So Kicks looking to play a little bit more of a harass-oriented, aggressive style game here. Running off of 5 factories, double armories, and he is going to go ahead and get a 3rd base off of this. So basically the gist here is 5 factories, this many vultures. We can see that like the tank count is low from Fat Reaver. You know, if he just sat here and did nothing, he would definitely be a little bit concerned with the army of Arc Times, especially once he starts to add a few zealots in. But the idea here is you take these bases and you do quite a bit of harass, and then Arc Times is never comfortable to move out and give you trouble. And it looks like Fat Reaver wants to come over the bridges. And just going to do some mine clearing. Here come the double drop ships. Oh, this is 4 tanks. This is an interesting drop. Honestly, that's a lot of value in tanks, so there's for sure going to die because of the nature of tanks. So he really needs to get probes here, unless he just does drop with no siege. But he is going to go ahead and siege up all 4 tanks. And Dragoons on the way. Of course, this is one of those times where the wall is almost a downside. It probably would have been Fatwell with the mines. I guess this is the best route. But here come the Zealots, and of course he has left the dropships. So he's sacrificing 4 tanks for like 4 probes. Probably not a good trade in the... Oh, he actually gets... I take that back. He got the Nexus. He got the Nexus. I didn't think you could get a Nexus snipe with 4 tanks, but what do I know? Not much, apparently. So that did eke out value for the tanks in the end. Killing 600 minerals worth of stuff, including a Nexus, is definitely worth the delay. And of course, behind that harass, setting up a command center of his own. And he is running now off 6 factories. Still charging his way towards those initial upgrades. And again, I have to give Kix credit. Generally very good coverage of the map. Mines all over the place. It's one of the most annoying things. I imagine most Protoss players would agree with me. A Terran that is really good at mining up the map is really frustrating because you're just always having to worry about where you walk. You can never get units quickly from A to B because you're always busy having to clear minefields. It's just demanding. You know, you want to reinforce or harass a base, you send force outs to harass a base, but then they walk through a minefield. There's all kinds of things. Like if you can get good at mining on the map, it's just fantastic. Adding a few more factories. Well, I guess, no, he needs the gas here, because right now he's still on only 2 add-ons. He'd probably like to have the 3rd add-on. Doesn't have that quite yet. Obviously, macroing up pretty fast with such a vulture-heavy composition. And we can see Fat Reaver's, I mean, he has lost the Nexus, but again, his macro is just a little slow. I really liked his army control last game, and I was quite impressed with that, but his macro is a little on the slow side here. You know, again, we're 14 minutes. We haven't really had too many major engagements. In fact, he didn't lose any units here, and he's still only at 160 supply. I mean, part of that's just the probes. He really needs to be more at like 60 or 70 by 3 or 4 minutes ago, and it's just slowing him down a little bit. Oh, mine going off. And now Kix moving onto the high ground. We can see his army has a ridiculous number of vultures. Not so many tanks, but it looks like in response to that, Fat Reaver has an army composition that is reasonably Dragoon heavy, which is generally the easiest way to think about it. Terran has a boatload of vultures, you get a boatload of Dragoons, and if Terran has a boatload of tanks, then you slide a little more Zealot heavy. However, he is just kind of lining up here and fighting, and now he is charging in with the Zealots, but there are a lot of vultures left, a lot of Zealots too, though. Will there be enough to push this army back? There might be. This is a pretty large army from Fat Reaver, given the lack of probes for him. It's a pretty large army, and it is going to be able to clean up Kix's army for right now, but with the mines on the map and the bridges, he will not be able to push across, I don't think. Although he's going to try. Here we go. Running across. Possibly. Are there enough units to bust across? He is not reinforcing. That is one thing that Kix has going for him. He needs to be careful with these vultures. Sieging tanks up here. There we go. We are getting tanks sieged up on the high ground right now. Dragoons are being whittled down. No reinforcements coming, so this is held by Kix. But certainly a tense moment. And Kix probably feels... most likely he feels pretty nervous right now. He's like, oh my god, Protoss has killed my army, I almost died, holy shit. But if we actually stop and look at the game, he's on 4 bases, Protoss is on 4 bases, he's got like 8 factories going, a little bit of rallying would be helpful, but he's got 8 factories, he's got his upgrades, you know, Protoss did okay, but, you know, Kix is fine now. Except one thing that's not good is this. The lack of gas at the 4th would be nice. Certainly could get the tank count up a little bit faster. You can see he's on 400 gas. His gas is basically being spent, especially when he makes 2 more tanks. He's not even upgrading right now. Certainly, you know, just having trouble affording everything he wants. A little bit of vulture harass down here at 3rd base. Picking off some of the probes. Oh, although now he is going to fight against the Dragoon. Still, we can see Fat Reaver's economy is just 40 probes, 4 bases. That's pretty anemic. That's like a Zerg economy at the middle stages of his ZVP or ZVT or something like that. Actually, spread it over 5 bases. I mean, you can see how anemic looking this economy is. Barely 1 per patch at most of the bases. Probably not mining much gas either. Yeah, not mining gas here. Looks like he's only mining gas at 2 of his bases. But has produced another big army. And again, you know, for the size, this is surprisingly big for a 150 supply army. So Kix is still comfortable with his position, especially if he defends over here competently. He's got a lot of tanks. Would be nice to see a group of vultures come over here, but the position is fine for Kix. Just needs to deflect this army, which will be no problem if a few vultures do get over here, although right now there are no vultures, and they need to get over here, because right now there's just some free tanks with a lot of zealots running in here. Kix afraid to siege up, probably the smart decision here, especially without reinforcing vultures, allowing those zealots to do just a bit more damage than they should have. I mean, this is held. He's fine. And in the meantime, vultures running into the natural, but of course under attack. A little hard to focus on killing the probes, although still picking off a good 4 or 5 probes here in the natural before getting cleaned up. And position still comfortable for Kix, who is running more vultures in over here. Terrorist vultures. Kix is getting in touch with fantasy mode. Arctime's barely able to keep up, now having to send his whole army back. And we can see he's about to be down into the 30s of probes at, what, 18 minutes with a 5 base Protoss, and you're down at 40 probes? It's hurting. He can remake them pretty fast, though, if he gets all those nexuses going. Yeah, it would have been even better if he could have split like 4 volts here and like 3 volts there. But, and of course this base is just kind of sitting out here vulnerable. And it looks like Kix wants just a bit of a larger army before he actually goes ahead and moves out. Oh, does Arctimes? He's got 2 Stargates, but remember, he hasn't been mining gas from either of these bases. He's only mining, well, he just started mining gas. So there's a reason why these Arbiters are so late and so few in number, and that's primarily because nice ops coverage though. You got to give him credit. Like, he's almost has like too many obs in certain spots. These could be spread out a little bit more, but he's got obs all over Terran's base, over the factories. Just, you know, so in that sense, Fat Reaver loving it. Gas up, so yeah, Arctimes was like, fuck, where's my gas? Why can't I make anything? Shit. And then he put down gases at the other bases. Alright, so Arctimes with another one of these. Well, he actually has probed up a little bit more, but still a little bit thin. Another 10 probes, and we'll be talking about a good normal size late game PVT probe count. I keep seeing these purple things and keep thinking, is there an Arbiter? An Arbiter? Recall? Somewhere? Alright, a whole boatload of tanks coming out across the bridges here. Kix looks like he's just going to set up defensively maybe and take the 5th, or maybe push down this way. That's always a nice way to play when you can push towards the Protoss base while simultaneously securing your own with the direction of that push. Always nice to do, especially given how easy it is to barricade this base off, and then that allows you to really comfortably push down here without much fear of counterattack. Really nice way to play in these cross-map positions. And that honestly seems to be the sort of thing Kix is thinking about right now. Upgrades are a little bit slow for Kix, but let's remember it took him, unfortunately, a pretty darn long time to get that gas, so he really hasn't been able to afford those upgrades, especially since he's definitely wanted to get some vessels in his army. A few Goliaths in there, needs those. Would be nice to see him get those upgrades started again. I mean, let's face it, it is, you know, 20-minute mark. And it looks like Fat Reaver's thinking about an attack. He's certainly getting his army into a line. Is he going to go for it? Yes, he is. All right, here we go. We have the commitment to an attack. Can he land some EMPs on these Arbiters? The answer is looking like no EMPs are going to go down before Stasis even gets the 1 vessel. So, honestly, Kix does not have a lot of tanks in here. I don't know where the rest of his tanks are, but this army's kind of small. The Vultures being worth their weight in gold, quickly killing off the Zealots. And the army from Fat Reaver is temporarily repulsed. Although it looks like Fat Reaver may not have given up the ghost of this attack yet, may want to dive back in there and try to shut down the 5th once he gets a few Zealot reinforcements. We can see he is doing a good job macroing nothing but Zealots back at home. So here we go, attack round 2, but it's not the best. Everything was pretty clumped up and honestly not really even fighting. Vultures moving forward and then back, getting a few more mines out in front of the army. And now everything is just about gonna unfreeze. A few more tanks coming out. Did he ever get that 3rd add-on? Yeah, he does have 3 add-on tanks right now, which is good. And it looks like he is just gonna keep on creeping down towards this base, which is a definite concern. We have a little drop going on down here. killing off a few of the probes. No response from Arctimes yet, but it looks like he is starting to move his army. Well, no, that's just his army kind of gathering. Probes dying. Is he going to recall to defend this or stasis this? Please don't stasis this. This is too small to be worth a stasis, especially since that means you just have to leave units there. He's actually going to scan to kill more probes. So this is another probe genocide, and it looks like Fat Reaver's just saying, oh, fuck it, I'm going to go attack. Never mind. I don't think he sent any units back there, so he's just going to accept the losses. He knows about it. He's just going to accept the losses and try to bust the position of Kix, and he does get some huge stasis. This tank's a little bit clumped for Kix's liking here, and it looks like Fat Reaver is busting through the position of Kix. Are there any reinforcement units? No, there are not at this point. So this base is lost for Kix. He needs to float up and get out of here, or else he's going to lose the CC as a part of this. And honestly, I think he can kill the CC if he wants to focus it. He's not doing so yet. He is going for SCVs first, but I guess he can still probably swing around and get it. He does need to be a little bit aware of these tanks. Alright, he is bringing his army back. Reinforcements arriving for Kix, but just a little bit too late. I think there's still more than enough Protoss to clean this up comfortably, yes, but that unfreezing does allow Kix to slide the base away, but definitely an army loss there from Kix. Of course, it took a long time to get that cleaned up, and we can see no mining at the 5th base for Fat Reaver, who basically abandoned his probes for that attack. Not able to handle the multitasking of the main engagement as well as getting units over there. Yeah, I think the reason he's winning every fight, though, is because he's so low eco that it makes his army, like, abnormally big, so it's allowing him to have these effective fights. Honestly, my hunch would be in this kind of a low eco situation, if you can tell that Protoss is, like, this anemic, is just push, like, a little bit more slowly and carefully, and really make it hard for Protoss to, like, counterattack, and then you'll get efficient trades, and then he can't replenish. We're going to have a recall into the main right now, and it's a pretty significant recall. Clustered up there in the factories, and Kix's production has seemed a little bit... Oh, actually, never mind. It's not that low. It's just he's got out here. So we'll see how effectively he can get back and clean up this recall. He's definitely going to sacrifice a few rounds of units here to these Terran attacks. And it looks like possibly going to consider moving in with the rest of his army later. We'll see. EMP's going down right now. Tanks coming out. Can he save either of those? No, they're going to die immediately. And Kix just cleaning up stuff at the bottom of the ramp. Will he target down those vessels? Would be nice for him to do. He gets one. Yes, he's going to go for the other. No, he's actually not targeting it down. Dragoon's just kind of fighting willy-nilly, so Kix will eventually make it up the ramp, but certainly is buying plenty of time here for Evil Eye, and has obviously taken out both of, or two of, Kix's machine shops, something he dearly needs. And unfortunately for Kix, he is at 2-2, so he is working on 3-3. And trying to target down the science facility, not going to get it. And that recall will finally get cleaned up. That one last pesky Dragoon. Unfortunately, this Arbiter will make it out of here if Fat Reaver remembers it's there. Although he might forget about it. Oh, we can see Kix. No, I thought Kix was going to put the Goliath under the Arbiter to ensure it dies. Although, honestly, not microed. It will. Oh, he's trying to hit up over here with some Zealots. I don't know what good that's going to do. I don't know what good that's going to do. That's just kind of like a suiciding of Zlots. And for the first time in the game, Fat Reaver is actually showing signs of having a healthy economy. And these Zealots are just... they're not going to accomplish anything. And maybe... No, Fat Reaver doesn't seem to realize that. He's just kind of sending them here to die. I think he probably was, like, recalled, and then he sent some Zealots over here, and he's like, well, I hope that it's just open and Kix is, like, not paying attention to the recall, and they can walk in and do some unmicro damage. That would be my guess. And in the meantime, across the bridge comes the army of Kix, which is quite large. So is Fat Reaver. Like I said, first time he's actually getting close to having a healthy economy. Although some of it obviously needs to be transferred over to relevant mining bases. And now Kix out on the map. He's got position. He can start rebuilding the CC over here if he would like to. And Arctimes is gathering for the engagement right now. Quite a few Arbiters with that army, but nice EMP on the main army and Arbiter. Softens up the shields on a lot of those Protoss units, and 2 more Arbiters are out now, both with good amounts of energy. PP. Sorry, ready, set, go. Man, you guys, if all the games are like this is going to be one long-ass cast. We've had nothing but like 30-minute plus games so far. Alright, a few Zealots suiciding themselves early, and now the full attack comes from Arctimes. He's had good luck with his attacks all games. Can he make yet another attack work? I don't know about this one. A lot of the Zealots are dying pretty fast to the mines. Still a lot of Vultures left, a lot of tanks left, and while a ton of stuff is stasis, there are still 3 tanks left, and it is going to be enough to repulse the army of Fat Reaver, who for the first time in the game is handed what I would call a major defeat in a battle. That really did not go well. He stasis a ton of stuff and still lost the fight quite badly, and now Kix has his moment to move down, especially as this unstasis is. Kix is still going to have a very large army left over. We can see it is similar size to Arctimes. He is reestablishing this 5th base. Right now, Kix is doing absolutely everything he needs to do, except perhaps sieging up these tanks in front and laying a few mines out in front of his army. But other than that, looking solid for Kix so far. Of course, Fat Reaver knows this CC is going up, has the obs there. Gotta give him credit. This guy has some nice obs coverage in his PVTs. Oh, Probe, nice paying attention there. Walks in there and he's like, oh, Vulture, no. Oh, but Kix seems to be kind of aware too. And we'll go ahead and find that probe and kill it. And it looks like Fat Reaver is being forced away from his base, and he's a little bit slow. He's actually got a lot of supply, but where is his army? I mean, he's got a shit ton of Arbiters. That's some of his supply. 1 EMP, though, to rule them all with this single hotkey. So you're obviously saying he's surprised that Protoss doesn't have every base on the map. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but I guess I'm not surprised in the sense that, you know, it's, what do you call it, C- level PVT, and looking at these players, just there's probably not the APM and the multitasking to be all stressed about these big fights while simultaneously taking bases all across the map. So while I agree, like, it would be good if Protoss had that, I'm not, like, super surprised he doesn't. And now Kix is set up at the bridges. Starting to look a little bit grimmer here for Fat Reaver, and I don't see anything else going out on the map, actually, unless this is an Arbiter. Okay, he's going to go for a recall. So this is a pretty important move here, but there's nothing left really to recall, so actually this is not a great idea. He can recall to the main, but I don't even know if that is going to be all that good at this point. But will he get in there? He's going to just slide into there on a pretty big recall. Now Kix will probably just push into the natural as this recall happens. No, did he leave anything at home to defend? Yeah, he's got tanks home. He could start to defend if he wants to, although right now his tanks are headed the wrong way. Is Kix just going to say, ah, fuck it, and go for it? Or will he take some units and come back and defend? Like I said, I was sure he was going to push into the natural with at least some of his units, and I definitely agree with that. This is a nice ramp stasis going down here, buying him more time. Tank should win this fight against the Dragoon. Arbiter moving a little bit out of position right now, and a lot of this comes down to, can Kix control this attack well enough to not just suicide units while also clearing out his main? Right now, though, not much left to clear out his main, and that is dangerous because that could spell the end of units for Kix right now. I mean, there's still a lot of army left here, and no real army coming out of these factories. In fact, Kix isn't even trying to make army out of the factories at this point. He's basically given up his main and is going for it in the natural. Is it going to pan out? He's still got a lot of units with him, although he's got to be careful. Things like these DTs could be a huge problem, especially when vessels are out of position. He wants to get up a turret. Arbiter's coming back now. Where's the scan? He should have a scan, but he hasn't scanned yet, and it's going to allow him to deny the turret, which is obnoxious. And are there any Goliaths? Oh, this is really rough for Kix right now. There are not Goliaths. We can see Fat Reaver is just sending an unit scan for some reason, not going down. I don't know if Kix is just out multitask or what. He's got, well, actually, he doesn't have energy there. He's got comstats with scans, but he's not finding them. He's not using the energy, and I am worried because he is bleeding units. And like I said, he's given up his main. I don't see factories anywhere else on the map right now, so it's looking like a situation where if Fat Reaver just holds on and cleans up this army, he will take the game. There's no guarantees he can do that, but it certainly looks like he has a chance to. He is sending everything across the map, though. It looks like he's not going to try to do any recalls, and Kix definitely needs to scan. Actually, never mind. He's got the vessels there. Stasis the vessels right now would be so good. I guess he's going to go for a stasis on the tanks. But the army of Kix is really thin right now. We're down to just a few vultures and having a hard time breaking up the ramp. Still, he could also recall this whole army back to here, too. Although, probably has been EMP'd. Does this one have enough? No. Okay, so all of his arbiters are low energy. Looks like he's just doing a little bit of countering here. He definitely needs to move carefully, though, if he wants to bring this army back to defend. And any signs of factories going up for Kix? No, surprisingly, Kix didn't kill the depots. Kix is still mining. He's rebuilt one factory, but one factory is not a whole lot of factories. Still continuing to push his way forward. Arbiter's raining down damage has actually dematrixed the tank to try to keep it alive a little bit longer. Zealots coming in, picking off supply depots, and it looks like this base is flooded in, so Fat Reaver's opting to just shut down the last of Kix's macro, last of his income. And Kix, where did those vultures come from? I don't even know. He did not rebuild factories. I don't know. I guess they were sitting around somewhere, but unfortunately they're just kind of fighting, and Kix says, GG, Fat Reaver will take the series 2-1. And I am not quite sure what to say about that army control. Or that last little bit. Like, I felt like Kix was going to be able to defend, but then that recall sort of, I don't know. My sense is that probably Kix just went a little too, oh my god, I'm just going to go kill him, and didn't defend at all. Like, had you sent 4 or 5 tanks back, I think you could have still pushed in and then started sieging at the bottom of the ramp and gradually taken control of your base again. But that would be my guess. The recall was a nice move. Like, at first I thought he was just going to recall like an empty base, and I was like, oh, that's going to be a stupid recall. But then he recalled your main, and I was like, and then it worked. Did a lot of damage because you basically gave up on it. So we'll go into our next game, which is going to be Genji against F10 EQQ. Genji, I believe, is a Zerg player, if I recall correctly. And since I am not Jaehoon, I do believe I recall. But we'll find out. Yes, indeed. In the top right-hand corner, as the orange Zerg, we have Genji. And in the bottom right-hand corner, as the blue Protoss, we have Inish Armada, otherwise known as F10 EQQ. Someone is adding music. I don't even know if that'll work right now, though. I don't think I have the stuff set up to actually make it play songs. Evil is good at guessing songs through the mic. I'm just inspiring you to go get fat. I'm gonna keep eating them here. The sad part is I'll probably have eaten a package and a half or something by the time this cast is over. If I keep eating 1 or 2 per game. I think we have like 10 games or something. So I'm still not quite sure on Genji's skill level. He's a newer player to at least these leagues. I don't know if he's newer to Brood War, but newer to these leagues. I want to say he's got to be like at least D+, C-, but just don't have a feel for it yet. And I believe, like I said, F10 EQQ, I think he has hit C before. So should be one of the stronger Protosses in this league. I would say him, Hafnium, Evil Eye, maybe Shoop de Whooper. I'm not as familiar with his play. I hear different things about him. Some people say like he's solid, he's alright, and some people are like, nah man, Shoop de Whooper's fucking crazy, you gotta ban him from the league. You know, I've heard both ends of that spectrum. Those are sort of the low bound and the high bound that I've heard. But we'll see. This is kind of the first time I've actually seen F10 EQQ playing, so it'll be interesting to see his PvZ. And the map, for those wondering, is Neo Jade. Neo Jade, reverse ramp, 4-player map. Big old ramp here, tilted downwards, and then base over there. Sending out 2 drones, trying to take the Nexus. Nice little initial drone attack. Now, is he going to go for the pylon block? A lot of times, Protosses that are dedicated, yep, throw down the pylon, shuts down the hatchery. Looks like he's going to build the hatchery out of position. What? That can't be right. Well, that's stupid. That's just, unless I'm totally missing something and this hatchery is actually in the right spot, which I realize sometimes hatcheries can be like that, but if this is in the wrong spot, this is stupid. Genji, if you see this cast, do not build the hatchery here. If you want to build the hatchery, build it there, but you just blocked your proper hatch positioning. I mean, at least you can still get optimum gas, but you just completely de-optimize your mineral mining. And if you're going to place it wrong, like, place it completely wrong, and, you know, just, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Especially because you have Lings coming. Alright, so Lings are trying to chase the probe. He's almost going to get... Oh, no, but it's going to slip by. Never mind. In the meantime, drone dives to the cannon, and we have Forge and Gateway. Pretty easy map to wall on. Fine wall here from Genji. Nice one-hex little easily blockable wall. Yeah, or you can build it to the third, obviously. You got a few choices. Misplacing it is the one choice you don't want to do, though. Looks like two of the Lings being used to try to chase, although they're not exactly always helping chase. But being determined, trying to get rid of it. Can he get a few more hits off on it? No. Nice turning here from F10 EQQ, who is showing some early exemplary. I can't say that word right now. I give up. That just totally failed. Exemplary. There we go. We got it out with much difficulty. It looks like he's gonna return the Lings. I'd like to see a Ling go down here to the front so he can at least see that the Forge isn't spinning so far. But right now, I mean, there's just absolutely no intel for Genji right now, which is a bit of concern. Yeah, Pisan, teach me how to play some ZVT. Like, my ZVP is fine, but my ZVT, it's like, there's probably a full rank in skill difference between them. Like, my ZVT is probably literally, like, barely D+, whereas my ZVP is probably, like, C. It's huge. Alright, so a few Lings coming down here, taking a look at the front. Of course, obviously not able to run by with a Zealot between a wall and a Forge and some cannons. Evil Eye, I might actually try to play a little bit after the cast today, because my, I'm starting to get a little bit more mobility in the shoulder, but it might hurt, so I might not be able to, but I will maybe give it a shot. If I take Zerg, goes, how can you have less APM playing Zerg or Terran? What? Your APM is the highest with Protoss? That's really funny, actually. Oh, some idle drones here from Genji, who is trying desperately to chase this probe around. But it has not died yet. Actually, he's probably not trying at all, because he's just got one Ling tagged to it. But he does have the ramp blocked off, so the probe can't exactly leave if it gets too low on health. Speed is, I think, done. Yeah, he's popping that probe in the butt. Butt raping the probe till it dies. Sorry for that graphic description, but that's literally what happens. Actually, it's not really raping. I guess it's more like biting with... Actually, I don't know. Do Zerglings bite or do they actually claw? I mean, they're kind of crappy sprites for actually telling what happens, but it could be either. Oh, well, that's kind of interesting. I guess he put the ramp there like, I don't want you to see me. And then over at the third base, bom, 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 bom. Hydra done. So Hydralisks on the way. Only 2 cannons for F10 EQQ, which is a bit of a concern because you need... Well, at least he's got 2 gateways. I mean, that does help. Oh, whoa. Okay, he skipped Stargate. This is really good for him. He's going to have speed to fight these Hydras. He should be able to hold this. He should be able to hold this, especially with the gateway explosion. This skipping Stargate is working out really nice for him. Oh, I didn't actually even... Wow, I missed that. It's 4-hat Hydra. That makes it a little bit interesting, but +1 speed lots are pretty good against 4-hatch Hydra, so that explains a little bit of the timing. But this is a very fast +1 timing. But I don't think this will go very well for Genji. Arguably the best thing Genji could do at this point rather than try... Oh, he's already out on the map. Alright, let's see how the control is here from F10 EQQ. Getting some good initial shots. Of course, he's got +1, so the lings are going to really suck. And yeah, clearly there are enough Zealot numbers right now to start driving these Hydralisks back. Now, he might get the better from this initial engagement. I think he needs to pull back right about now, although actually he's continuing to reinforce. And never mind, he's got enough, and Genji just GG's. Thought maybe he was going to need to pull back and recollect himself, but nope. Too many Zealots. And I missed if he had range. I did not see which upgrade he went through first. Sorry guys, I saw it a fraction too late to actually see if he went for range or speed first. Alright, so we'll go into game 2, and it looks like Genji has opted to play on none other than Blue Storm. So, in the top right-hand corner, as the white Zerg, we have Genji. And in the bottom left-hand corner, as the teal Protoss, we have INS Armada, otherwise known as F10 EQQ. Someone saying Blue Storm isn't in the map pool. Genji just told him Blue Storm, and F10 EQQ didn't even know better, so I guess they just picked Blue Storm. So they just went for it. YOLO! Oh yeah, notice the minerals, guys? I'm doubting he's either alt-tabbed and having huge keyboard problems, or he's about to throw down a pool. And it looks like he's about to throw down a pool. Which is, honestly, I kind of think this is, well, I don't know how the map works. It doesn't say, no, I would normally say, I kind of think 4-pool's bad on a 2-player map, because you're going to scout it right away, unless he does something weird and doesn't go and scout. What? Well, that's good for Genji. I could not imagine ever playing PvZ and not scouting after Pylon. But, you know, usually if you know about it right away, you can just pull probes, and you can do enough blocking to let your cannon finish right away. But it's funny watching people have struggles with this bot. Like I said, I keep saying I'll turn off its settings, but I keep forgetting to actually go look at its settings. Alright, well, he's about to scout. And he's about to be like, holy shit, there's a fucking lot of lings on the map right now. This isn't normal. I'm a little scared. I could lose this game if I'm not careful. If you could kill a drone in the beginning and then make the 3-pool work, either they were just greedy and couldn't control any probes, or you have some kind of god skills, or they're like, 10 APM and, made like 5 pylons before Forge in their main base. He still hasn't gone in. He's looking for a drone to block, and he's gonna be like, oh shit, that was not what I expected to see. However, if you look at the timing of this, somehow it looks like it's gonna be close. And I think if he just grabs all his probes, it's way too early. Man, that's way too early. Grab like all your probes but 1 or 2, but wait. But I think one of his cannons might actually be about to... It's just like not even gonna... It's just... Oh, this is so close. He'll just get here. All the probes have to do is block for like a fraction of a second, but he's not blocking! Well, he's gonna get the rest. Oh, whoa, nice. That block was actually really good. So with a few probes getting in is not a big deal. And he went 3 cannons, so nothing else can get in at this point. And honestly, he's already killed one of them. So unless this Ling just goes into ungodly stratospheric levels of terrorism, Armada should pretty much have this game locked up. And as he suicides his Overlord into triple cannon, GG is said from Armada, or from Genji, and Armada takes one of the fastest 2-0s. I guess he's now made up for how long they... He knew that Kix's games were taking a long time, so he's like, alright, I better just go ahead and quickly kill. Although, actually, in fairness, I guess you can't really contribute that to Genji, or to F10 EQQ. It was just like Genji went ahead and quickly ended the games. Alright, so it appears that Jealous is casting Game 1 of Snowfruit versus Evil Eye, and possibly casting Game 3 if there's a Game 3. So we're just going to see one game of the series, and the results of Game 1 and Game 3 will be entirely unknown. So, in the top left-hand corner, as the yellow Protoss from team, we have Evil Eye. And in the right-hand corner, as the brown Zerg, we have Snowfruit. Snowfruit saying Genji has been busy with school. I guess he never practiced ZVP. Snowfruit, do you know what level Genji is? He certainly decided to play pretty all-in both of those games, but I don't know, maybe the first game he was intending to do something different and was just a little bit on tilt or something, I don't really know, and then just went 4-pool. He hates when they cast my games. When they... How do you guys hate it? I love my games getting casted, even if they're completely shitty games. And I feel like, honestly, like my games versus Dark Matter, I was legitimately embarrassed by both of those games. I felt like I played particularly bad there. And even though those were casted, I mean, I still like watching my games get casted, even if they make me cry. Alright, so Evil Eye has a Pylon at the natural. Not in the main. So we're basically ruling out a two gate. We're basically ruling out 1 gate tech. We can't rule out 2 gate. Yes, Jealous is casting game 1 and game 3 if there's a game 3 of this. Hence the reason I have skipped to game 2. So somebody picked Circuit Breaker. It could have been Snowfruit, it could have been Evil Eye, but we don't know. The winner is a mystery. Evil Eye throws down a Forge, obviously going to put a gateway over here. And oh, Snowfruit making a pretty fast pool. Or is that just overpool? Oh, okay, maybe it's just overpool. Never mind. I didn't see the Overlord at first, and I was like, he's only got like 8 drones or something. Alright, so we're gonna go Hatchery before Lings, Hatchery before Lings, or Lings before Hatchery, Hatchery before Lings. Oh, wow. Okay. So Evil Eye either hasn't scouted, I would rather, maybe that's why, he hasn't scouted, right? I'd rather see him double scout, that way you don't have to do this, but Evil Eye playing super safe. Like 2 cannons before Forge is really safe. It's basically insurance if against Zerg 9-pulling, which most Zergs don't do. 1 cannon is usually totally fine against overpull. Especially 1 cannon with a probe or 2 pulled. But he is scouting late, so I guess that's just doing it the safe way. But that will certainly make Snowfruit happy. It'll put him in a marginally advantaged economic position, especially having delayed his Lings to get that hatch up first. And away goes the probe. Away goes the probe. We should see a gateway. There we go. Nice. Evil Eye using his 100 APM to surgically execute his PvZ build. How the hell you get to see with 100 APM in PvZ is like mind-boggling to me. But but it is possible. Evil Eye's done it. And he has done a good job getting this probe out here for another look. But look at that, Snowfruit. It's like, this is like a super series. This is like, I'm gonna put 2 Lings on the ramp, and in case that doesn't work, I'm also gonna have a drone there. Evil Eye notices, and okay, brings the probe up, backs down. Of course, nothing is actually going on in the main, so I think he's just trying to psych Evil Eye out and make him think, oh my god, am I gonna get Hydra busted? Not enough to scare him into building a cannon yet, that's for sure. He's gonna go down and check for a 3rd base. Of course, honestly, seeing a 3rd base doesn't really rule out that many possibilities. Zerg, oh, actually he's not going to find one down there. I mean, Zerg can still do almost any of the builds they want to, if there's a 3rd base. I guess the only thing you're ruling out is like 2 hatch muta or something really weird. Snowfruit does another 4th hatch. Now he's going to make 4 hatch before gas or 5 hatch before gas. We'll just have to see, but he hasn't gone quickly for a gas, so it's certainly looking like a 5 hatch before gas build. Objectively, it's not the greatest build, but I think it is an easy build to do if you are learning. So, yeah. And honestly, we are seeing a lot more 4 hatch before gas, not 5 hatch before gas. We are seeing a lot more 4 hatch before gas in Korean ZVP land. Definitely seen a surprising number of those games, especially following a gate expand, but I have seen them at all stages, and still blocking with those Lings, and oh, he's gonna trap the probe, it's dead! So, Snowfruit with a kill on the probe, popping out a few more Zerglings, and Evil Eye is sending out this Zealot with the intention of harassing, and we do see a 5th hatch taken almost at the same time as gas. He's taking 2 gases, so this looks like pretty solid 5 hatch before gas style. And then we'll just see what he decides to do from there. Alright, a bunch of lings now popping out for Snowfruit. I guess worried that there may have been many zealots coming across the map. So should be able to deal with the zealot fairly easily. Evil Eyes is going to go run behind the minerals, try to get some value out of it. Snowfruit does need to send a group up top and avoid fighting a little bit inefficiently, which right now this zealot is being allowed to be painfully efficient. There we go. There's the split of the lings that we needed. And he will be able, oh, nice job there, pulling back the lings. Unfortunately sending in the wounded one, but the zealot, oh. For a second there, he started to attack his own lings, but he was quick to recognize, oh, I don't need to do that. In the meantime, back at Evil Eye's base, he's going up to 4 gateways and getting speed. It is a pretty good response to this build. Although the only thing I will say is this is not like super fast speed. He did skip, which kind of surprises me because he did skip the Stargate, which is totally a fine response if you're playing against no gas, because obviously you're not going to get muted, which is the main value of the Stargate. I still kind of hate skipping it because I just don't like being that in the dark, but it does give you a really strong early zealot attack that is a pretty hits at a pretty annoying timing when you're playing this way, especially if you're looking to go for Mass Hydra. And we can see Snowfruit, honestly, in my opinion, he's really sunken up, but I don't think he's actually gone with an Overlord and scouted that this is like 4 gates. So, unless I missed something and he saw that, this is really, really defensive for someone who's intending to play with a large number of Hydra. Like, this is really slowing down your build to do this. So, although maybe he's not going to go for Hydra. I kind of assumed he was, but maybe I was a little hasty in my assumption there. Obviously knows there's no Stargate because there'd be a Corsair by now. And now Evil Eye moves out onto the map with his Zealots. Going to have some serious reinforcements, and there are not going to be a lot of units out right now for Snowfruit to defend with. So, with that in mind, he is definitely going to need to morph these really soon. We can see Evil Eye has actually managed to sneak out here. Alright, he has started morphing at this base. He's got about 3 Hydra, but what he doesn't have is Hydra up, so these are going to be kind of crappy Hydra risks. And this 1 creep colony is not that useful. It's going to die super fast. Oh, we actually canceled. Oh, maybe it was just finished. I don't know. Either way, that was a bit weird. Bringing a few Zerglings up, still hasn't morphed these. The fact that there's nothing down this base, this is so scary. And I think Evil Eye might even hit it right now, which would be terrible for Snowfruit. As with Slowdras, there's no way he's going to be able to defend this. He's just getting speed. I don't even know if he has range for his Hydras. If it's slow, non-ranged Hydras, this is going to be disastrous. They are in there before the Sunken Colony is morphed. He is responding, but will his response be sufficient? I don't know. A lot of it depends on how quickly those Sunken Colonies go down. He's trying to drill it. The Sunken 1 is down. The Sunken 2 it is down. This is going to be an incredibly difficult defense for Snowfruit. It does appear that his Hydras have range, but they are very slow, and a lot of them are being very stupid right now. Drones are being massacred over on this side. They probably should just run away from the base entirely. Hydra are cleaning up a few Zealots, although the one saving grace is he is not elected to stream Zealots across. He has switched into a few High Templar, but it looks like he is cleaning up these Hydra with ease, and now Snowfruit is kind of just sacrificing a few Hydra at a time. He's got to be very careful with how he plays this. If he just sends them in 2x2, he will absolutely not be able to defend this base at all. He kind of has to poke at the Zealots and then move back, but of course he doesn't have speed, which makes it really hard to get little pokes done, and actually Evil Eye just wants to go for the Hydra. More hatching right now. No micro from Snowfruit, though, who's just eating this straight up. I think his Hydra speed has just finished. That's going to give him a little bit more of a chance, but I don't really think he can clean it up with these Hydra here. He's going to have to pull back a few more reinforcements. How many more of these Zealots is Evil Eye going to kill? Is he going to, or how many more of these Hydras is Evil Eye going to kill? Is he going to get through all of these? Right now, it's looking like it. Reinforcements slowly eliminating these Zealots, but the damage is dealt. An entire hatch is lost. Snowfruit forced to spam Hydra for a very long time. Obviously lost a lot of drones. We can see his economy is just at 29 drones. Evil Eye has been making probes nicely behind this whole time. 49 probes. Has High Templar in there, 3 High Templar, a bunch of Zealots. The follow-up attack is going to be so hard for Snowfruit to hold. I hope he's transitioning to Lurkers. I feel like he would really need to rely on Lurkers to defend that, but no sign of Lurkers on the way. Yeah, your Hydra ups were really late. Like, I mean, your Hydra ups should be pretty close to done by 7:30, 8 minutes, and you were like just starting one of them. Trying to make a little bit more static defense, but there are too many Zealots here right now. He can come down to defend with the Hydra, and if he catches the... Wait, where are the High Templar? What the... He's okay. He's just gonna ignore his High Templar. That would give him a chance to defend, but I honestly just don't think there's enough production right now. He's working off 3 hatches, which I don't think can stop this many Zealots. I mean, he's got a good position on the ramp, but it's flat out not enough Hydra. If he could, like, morph these into Lurker eggs or something, he could get somewhere, but, I mean, reinforcements are coming in, and GG is said. Evil Eye, the winner of Game 2. Oh, okay, that's a fair reason. Evil Eye said he forgot Storm. That's a pretty good reason not to send your Templar into battle. But it did look weird. It was like, you made 3 Templar, why not use them? Oh, alright, well, we finished up that side of the cast. So now we will go into our other set of games, which is actually our bigger set of games, maybe not longer. And I will say BRB as I use the bathroom. Oh, whoop. Alright. Oh. Evil Eye said, sorry, Snowfruit. I'm not exactly sure what the apology was for, but apparently Evil Eye did something wrong. Or maybe he was just apologizing for winning. So, I guess that means we're ready for our next series. This is Game 2. So Jealous is obviously casting Game 1 and Game 3 of Dark Matter versus, I'm not sure who the other person is, N-Baker. So, in the top position as the Green Zerg, we have N-Baker, and in the bottom position of Destination as the Yellow Terran, we have Dark Matter. And I have to say, knowing what I know, Dark Matter is hugely favored in this series, as Dark Matter is a pretty strong Terran player. And if I recall, N-Baker is one of the honest, true D-Zergs in the league. So, uphill fight here for N-Baker. Hello, the Fall of Man. How dare you tell the chat my real name? Now they can look up who I am. No, actually, there's a lot of Erics. Although, honestly, with as much stuff as I've told about me, I'm sure you guys, if you wanted to be expertly creepy, would have no problem figuring out exactly like who I am and where I live. So, if anyone wants to show up to my place and like break into it late at night, like 3 a.m., and just come inside with like a laptop. Oh, 8 racks, that's pretty mean. Like a laptop and a giant set of speakers, and just like blast the Korean commentators playing Playgoo at 3 in the morning for me. Knock yourselves out. I would lose my shit. It'd be hilarious. Alright, so we got 8 racks and then a depot. And I don't know what this Overlord is doing. This is a very strange Overlord flight path. It's like, I don't know if this is like the old... I mean, it's actually fortunate for him that he did this, because if it was 8 racks, he would have a decent chance to kill the Overlord out here in the open. But, it's just like, it's a strange Overlord scouting path. And Dark Matter's saying it's a 9 racks because he's dope. Making a Marine. Overlord being oh so ninja. And the hatch going down for N. Baker. Being bold here on destination. Oh, SCV gets a fusion cutter off on the drone. The drone's like, oh no, I'm bleeding. And now you're about to be bleeding a lot more because you're about to be shot with a machine gun. Oh, Jesus, that drone is dead as fuck. Alright, so the drone has a bad day on the ramp. Has a bad day on the ramp. It gets no intel other than the fact, oh god, there's a Marine. And probably there's going to be a bunker because it's a 12 hatch and he went for 9 racks. Which, yeah, seems like a pretty good excuse to make a bunker. And there's a lot of yellow dots moving across the map, which is usually indicative of bunkers. So we'll see how Dark Matter's bunker rush skills are here. Alright, he puts down the bunker. No surprises, I guess. It just comes up and builds like 2 supply depots. So he's just like, oh, what? Alright, Marine's gonna start poking away at the hatchery. Lings are being made. Oh my god, he has way overmade drones. He is, well, let's just say the situation is very bad right now for N. Baker. Absolutely have to be saving those Lings if you haven't scouted Terran's second bunker going up. Drones are pulled, but let's face it, the bunker's already done. There's a Marine in it. What can a few drones do? Absolutely nothing. It would help if these Marines were not being lost and confused and dazed. But yeah, well, he's getting up a sunken, so that gives him the slightest chance to defend, especially since Dark Matter's having a little bit of difficulty finding his Marines. And he moves forward. He actually wants to kill the Lings, which is a great decision. Why not? I mean, if you can get some of those killed, that is fantastic. Now targeting the sunken colony, needs to be a little bit careful, though. This bunker's a ways back. There we go. Everything is pulled right now, and he is dancing about. Can he do enough damage on the sunken colony? Right now, it's not looking like it, but more SCVs are arriving at a pretty good time. The sunken colony is done. It might just have enough to push these Marines back. Still some health on the sunken colony, though. Will he get this one in? No. So it is looking like, oh, but the sunken colony finally falls. N. Baker, for as few Lings as he had, he made a good show at that, but I don't think it's quite enough, especially with the repair. The bunker is getting weakened, but it's no, actually it will. Oh my god, he just ever so slightly. I mean, I realize Dark Matter made some mistakes, but impressive hold by N. Baker of that bunker rush. I mean, if those Marines had gotten in the bunker and been reinforced a little bit better, it certainly would have worked. But, oh, that's disappointing. After all that work, he's going to lose this ever so precious Wait, is he going to survive? Can't possibly. No, he can't. But that was a hold, man. That was a hold. And he's got a pretty fast Spire on the way. And a little 2-hatch action. Doesn't have gas here, though. And obviously, economically, I mean, you know, the situation is still very, very rough for N. Baker, but, you know, he's alive. And the one thing he does have going for him is that Dark Matter's on 1 base. If N. Baker was on 3 hatcheries right now, I would say, even as bad as his economy is, it wouldn't be a horrible position. But with just 2 hatch and an economy that's hurting that bad, it's going to be a big ass. He's going to need some fantastic Mutalisks. Obviously, is going to be in fine position with his upgrades. But when I say fine position, I mean that N. Baker is going to be happy here. I mean, he's going to be getting Muta out across the map before range is done, even with this 1 base faster academy here from Dark Matter. Alright, see, this is the downside. Did enough damage that he really can't make 6 Muta. And his timing is fantastic, you know, he's got Muta coming before like 6 minutes, but But Dark Matter coming across the map now with a Marine Medic Firebat force, and this is not morphed to a Sunken yet. And he's going to have 3 Muta out, maybe 4. He knows now, so that does start to morph. So it'll be interesting to see how this defense goes. If Dark Matter doesn't kill any Mutalisks, this is kind of rough for him. Now, if he kills most or even a few of the Muta, then this attack is fine. But if he kills nothing, you know, if he ends up going for it too much and just takes damage, it could be rough. And is he going to go for it? Or is he just going to hang out here? He's going to go for it. He's thinking about it for sure. He's stimming, but that is going to buy enough time. Here we go. 1 Sunken Colony's up. Where are the Mutalisks? I don't know where they are right now, but he is going to get through the 1 Sunken Colony really fast, and that's going to leave quite a few Marines still alive. Medics, realizing the medics are out of position. Here come the Mutas. Let's see what Baker has for control. Good so far. Good so far. Baker looking solid, dealing with this quite nicely. Now he has gone back over here behind the minerals. Just needs to be careful with his Mutalisks. So let's take a look. How close is he to range? Does he already have range? I guess it's late enough. If he got it right away, he would have it. He's either totally forgotten it or whatever. Always trying to clean it up, but is he going too soon? Oh my gosh, I think he might just be, but he's going to get it. But takes a lot of damage, loses a Muta. He's just going to abandon the medics back here in the base. Where are the rest of his Mutas, though? Perhaps his product... Oh, he's limited on gas. He just doesn't have enough gas. Oh, he's... Nice. Oh, no! Unless he took those off, but oh, no. No wonder. Oh, that's really unfortunate. I mean, 1 gas was always going to be hard, but if it was 1 drone, 1 gas... I was thinking he was actually going to be able to get some pretty good damage done with these Mutas. I mean, he's got, like... I mean, Dark Matter had nothing back at home. Like, Dark Matter could have been in such a bad spot. Baker definitely having his opportunities, but 1 guy on gas really going to hurt him. The turrets do finish just in time, and 5 Mutas, you can't fight that. And honestly, he's going to lose another one here. And just, he's hurting right now. He's hurting badly. Looking for some opportunities to get damage done, but Dark Matter has a lot of turrets up now. And with 5 or 6 Muta, you just can't really dive in against turrets. They kill him too slowly. You'll lose a Muta fighting against them at least. You know, you'll need 3, 4, 5 spins of the Muta to come in and get a turret. He has added a few drones to his economy, which is good. He is working his way back up there, but we can see Dark Matter's on the way with an expansion, and of course on the way to his starport as well, electing to go for all tech on 1 base. And we'll see if he decides to go for Valkyrie or Vessel. Both are somewhat viable options against the Muta opener. Oh, needs to be a little bit careful. Okay, does pick off the SV blade that turret. Oh, runs in there, but is taking some damage on his Muta. Is getting off some shots, but he really cannot afford to lose too many Muta at this point. Oh no, he camps the turret, loses another Muta. Dark Matter getting off nice target firing or good luck on the 1 Muta that was hurt. Able to pick that one out of the stack, and that leaves just 4 or 5 left in that stack. I think just 4. Scans going down. You can see there is a Hydralisk den yet, but no Lurker. Just not enough gas, as he has not even gotten his 2nd gas out yet. We have a... No, we don't have a tank on the way. Not yet. Starport is done. It looks like he's just going to go for Science Facility. Yes, he's going to go straight to the Science Facility. Now, is he going to wait? And I will admit, Dark Matter does seem to favor this style over the 5 racks play. I have not. You rarely face that these days, honestly. But Dark Matter, I've seen a lot of 2 and 3 racks straight into Vessel and tank pressure, which is pretty scary if you are assuming it's going to be 5 racks, and then all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, those tanks are fast. But now he is moving out with some Marines. Obviously going to find his Overlord here in the middle and catch it. Army a bit separated, but the Mutalisks are just kind of over here, not able to do too much. About halfway to Lurker, but it's not looking very probable that Lurkers will be done by the time he gets here, so I think he's going to need a lot of Sunken Colonies if he wants to survive. Probably needs 5. This is a pretty decent... Well, there's only 2 medics. Maybe he doesn't, especially destination bridges and all. Pretty solid defensive structures. Alright, so this is done. We should have a Vessel on the way here for Dark Matter any second. Any second that he has enough gas. He's going for it, but he's not stimmed, so he needs to pull back. Tricky to get across the bridges. You kind of got to run everything across, take a few extra hits. A lot of risk involved. Mutalisks are going to fly in. Does he even have enough to one-shot SCVs? I don't think he does. No, he does not. So this is kind of some flimsy harass. The medic healing is actually really powerful right now because the mutas by default just don't have enough to kill SCVs in one shot. Let's see, he started his vessel now. Is he making a tank? Okay, he's got a tank on the way. That'll be very powerful. And honestly, Baker's kind of trapped. He's trying to harass with the muta, and I don't blame him. But he's really got no way out of his base, and his hive timing is just, you know, way slow. I mean, the only way I could imagine anything happening is if Dark Matter makes some tank mistakes or whatever, or Baker somehow makes some good moves and is able to keep the tanks off of his back long enough to get defilers out, but he's a long way from defilers. Long way from defilers. Huge uphill fight here for Baker at this point. Unburrowing with the lurkers. What's he gonna try? What is he going to try? He's gonna try to go for it. Trying to get all the way in on the tanks. All he has to do, though, is spread these Marines. Oh, the reaction is actually pretty slow. And the muta are helping, but can he get both tanks? Yes, he will live for the moment. However, there's only 2 Sunkens left now, and still decent number of Mariner medics. Vessel is up as well. One more tank is really what he needs. It's on its way, and of course, remember, his economy is still not... Well, it's finally getting decent, but it's not that great. A lot of hatcheries, though. A lot of hatcheries. I think having a little bit of macro trouble. Finally realizes, hey, I should probably mine out the back door. Might not have hurt to do earlier, especially with all those Sunkens, and try to threaten some counters and backstabs on Terran to gain a little bit more time. But hey, hindsight is always 20/20. And now just waiting on that tank off. Only the mutas could have gone around and found the tank. This was just sent up entirely by itself without any protection from Dark Matter, so it would have been snipeable. And now it is back up here at the front. Gonna go ahead and siege up. Ooh, needs to pull these Marines back. Zerlings could run in and do so. Oh my god, Zerlings could snipe the tank right now if he's paying attention. Oh, but he wasn't. Misses an opportunity there. 1 Ling was, but the other 3 Lings did not. And now I think he's probably going to die. I don't think he has enough lurkers to repeat the same trick as before. And with the vessel out, the tank can just push in at will, especially if a second tank is arriving. Okay, a second tank is, well, it's a long ways away. But I still don't think it's going to buy him enough time just looking at hive. I mean, he still has to make the Defiler Den and wait for consume. That's a long wait. Dark Matter moves that tank forward, inches it up. Sieges again, muta are here, but let's face it, you can't do anything with 5 mutas. And he's thinking about running across. He's going for the spread. He's trying to put up another creep colony. But you got to give him credit. He's trying. He goes in for the stem. These Lings will die very fast. Lurkers unburrowing now, trying to go for the ramp, but the Marines are in here. They are spread out pretty well. Should deal with the Lurkers okay, unless the Lings can really buffer, but just too many Marines right now. Dark Matter punching through, and it looks like he's got what he needs. And this game is completely Dark Matter's at this point. GG from Baker. Dark Matter wins set 2. Baker could still make 10 Sunkens. 10 Sunkens, none of which would finish. Alright, so we'll be going into... Oh, I know what's going to happen in these games. I know exactly what's going to happen in these games. Do you guys know what's going to happen in these games? You should. You should know. Spawning in the top left-hand corner as the orange Zerg, we have Kashyyyk, and in the right-hand corner as the random purple Zerg, MLTY plays random, we have MLTY. Get ready for some super not long games. As you brace yourself for, well, I've seen him do a few other things in this particular matchup, other than just pure like Forpal, and it is. I actually haven't seen MLTY CVZ, so I don't know exactly what build he's gonna do, but dude, it's MLTY. So far, yeah, Kashyyyk is a Dutch porn star or some shit. Jealous was like linking it at one point, so I got some facts on me. But yeah, we know Evil Eye. We know you spend like 6 or 7 hours a day at least watching that. Got to stay on top of all the new movies that come out, and I realize that's a demanding task if you're gonna review. I don't know how Kashyyyk plays, but MLTY, confusingly to me, in this entire CPL has yet to do anything other than some sort of all-in build. What's up? Lag? So I'm just sitting here kind of waiting to see what MLTY is gonna do. I've never seen, well, actually he has made a hatchery, but I think it's a 9 hatch. Yes, it's clearly a 9 hatch. So it's probably just all inlings. it would be somewhat fitting if MLTY was on Tai2's team, I won't lie. But it still doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why do you join a league just to play, you know, whatever? I mean, like Tai2, yeah, Tai2 does a lot of all-ins, but it's not like Tai2 just throws down a 4-pool every game. But I mean, that's literally what MLTY does. He just 4-pools, or he puts down 2 gateways, or he puts down 2 gateways and builds a pylon and tries to hide 2 more gateways. It's a bit mysterious to me. Like, I can't imagine that's fun. I mean, I haven't actually talked to the guy to ask him, like, why he does it. But I feel like you get so fucking bored. Well, seriously, I mean, if he's a D player, like, you still have to have basic mechanics down, and he doesn't have very good mechanics at this stage. So, you know. So yeah, pretty much mechanics to the base. I mean, look at you can see. Well, actually, Kachikine did a faster pull, so. But I bet you'll see in the Ling micro here. Like, I bet even though MLTY is doing a pretty aggressive Ling build, like, I bet you Kachikine is likely to just destroy him with his Lings right now. Why do you hate people that only play this way? It's totally legit. I mean, wins are wins. Like, if you achieve Olympic rank, like, you're a really good player. You know. Let's see what MLTY do. See, Kachikine already getting... Actually, that was good for MLTY. He actually got the better of that engagement. Kachikine got a little too afraid to fight all those Lings. Yeah, he did 9 hatch, 9 pull, 9 gas. So he's just looking to make a boatload of Lings. The only way Kachikine could be in trouble here is if he doesn't realize what this build is and that he's going to get Ling spammed pretty quickly. But it looks like he's already aware because he's making a Sunken. He's got 4 Lings at home. Sunken will be done or really close to done. The counter is nice. He's into the main. So now MLTY has to control in 2 spots, although it looks like he's not microing at home. So he's going to lose a lot of drones here. He's sending a few Lings back. They're going to... Oh, actually, no. Kachikine's not microing either. Both players are getting too concerned with the micro there. Can't keep it going in 2 places. I realize that's really hard to do, though. Especially his early micro. That's, like, super intensive micro. But now everything is dead everywhere else, so it's just the micro on this front, but MLTY just says GG, which is kind of shocking to me. He still could have definitely tried some shit. So, a quick and fairly painless game for Kachikine. But yeah, Evil Eye, in all honesty, like, why do you hate people that play that way? Like, you know, I mean, I play, you know, very macro heavy myself, so, you know, I don't understand that play style from like a fun to play standpoint whatsoever. But I don't understand why you hate that. I mean, it's, you know, you can play Brood War however you want, right? Every style that works is legitimate as any other style. So in the 3 o'clock position as the yellow Zerg, we have Kachikine. And the top top position as the red Terran, we have MLTY. So, MLTY. Oh, I actually haven't seen what he does as Terran. I'm guessing it's probably going to be like BBS, but yeah, that's what I would expect. Why are you more pissed if you lose? Like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me if I lose to Cheese or to lose a 40-minute close macro game. Like, it's just, you lost. Like, you know, I don't really get pissed either way. Oh wow, 4 SC. What the fuck is he doing an SCV rush? What the hell? Or is he just like making goddamn sure he scouts? What? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, what the fuck is going on? What? Oh my god. Oh my god. Sorry, Evil, I am paying attention to what you write, but I'm also being amused by this ridiculous amount of mass scouting. Yeah, that must be what it is. He picked up. That would be weird too, because yeah, he picked a map. That doesn't make any sense. Seriously, like he had the choice to pick this. If it's really because he doesn't know anywhere you could spawn, that's just. I think it's SCV rushing though, like really late. This is so weird. What? This isn't even like a thing. This can't work. This just, especially not this slowly. I mean, it can't do anything unless, you know, Kachikin just doesn't know what micro is. He's pulling on SCV. Oh my god, he's going for the pull. What? Why? You're just gonna lose your SC. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I guess that's what's confusing to me about MLTY is like, you know, if that's your style, like I totally get that. If you want to all in and play that way, like that's all good. But it's like MLTY. It's like he's playing in this league because someone's forcing him to, and he's just like doing these half-hearted all-in attempts, and then, you know, 2 seconds in when it hasn't gone perfectly, he's just like GG. So it's like it's confusing to me. You know, it'd be one thing if you're really trying with your all-ins, but like, you know, we played a game, one of my games, the second game we played between me and him in CPL. Like, he did a 2-gate build, and he was hiding 2 other gateways somewhere, and I killed his first zealot with my lings, and he even killed one of my lings. I mean, it wasn't a good trade for him, but it wasn't. It was just a first zealot, and he just GG'd on the spot. I was like, dude, I didn't know you were making 2 hidden gateways. I only had 1 sunken. Like, you know, it was just, it's like he's being coerced to play, which, I don't know. It's just confusing. I can't figure the guy out. Maybe I'm just totally misreading him and making a bunch of bad assumptions, but that's how it feels to me. So, in the left-hand side, as the purple Protoss, we have Laser Snipe, and in the right-hand side, as the teal Protoss, we have Jordaddy. Well, let's see what Evil Eye is saying. Brood War is like a street fight to me. I try to get a lot of my boys together and show up to your door and tell you to come outside and fight me, and one of us get knocked out sometimes. Brute force. Yeah, then just brute force down his cheese, man. With pure good godly micro. Like, I don't know. The only cheese I would say I really hate is 3-hatch Hydra. And the only reason I don't like it is because 3-hatch Hydra feels it's like the most boring, because if you scout 3-hatch Hydra, what do? You just make some cannons. And if you scouted it and make enough cannons, you basically win. And if you don't, you basically lose. There's not even like micro. Like every other kind of cheese is fine. BBS, you know, 9 gates, all that kind of stuff. Like you get to do some, I mean, sometimes it's hard, but you get to do some intense micro. You know, you're fighting for your life. Like that shit's good. But like 3-hatch Hydra is the one sort of build just because it feels like there's so little involved in defending it. Alright, so gateway on the way here for Laser Snipe, and should be for... Oh! Jordaddy with a forward gate. Will he be making 2 of them? Let's wait and see. Jordaddy. But honestly, Jordaddy has not been too many people's daddy so far. Maybe he'll change that this game, although Laser Snipe is a pretty respectable Protoss, also a very respectable human being, as he is taken over running the league in my busyness, which I am eternally grateful to him and jealous for, as I just, you know, unfortunately got way busier with work and then with school than I thought was going to happen, and just didn't have the time or energy to coordinate the league. But thanks to their incredible efforts, the league was able to continue. And now that I have a little bit more free time, I can come back and at least do a little casting and have some fun. Pylon for Jordaddy in the center. Look at that APM difference. Jordaddy just spamming it out. Laser Snipe's like, nah, man. That's too much work to press all them keys this early on for nothing. Zealot is out, but he's going to scout with a probe. And this is kind of interesting, because he's going to scout. He's going to see a gas. He's going to be like, this is sort of some weird shit. You got a gateway. You got a gateway here. You got it's like at the ramp though, which is weird. And you got a gas, but you aren't building a cybernetics core. He's gonna triple gateway. The gas has got to be to fake. Oh, he's gonna lose his probe. Oh, whoa, what? How did that probe? I don't even. That was weird. I swear the Zealot was like ready to do its attack animation, and then it was just like, no, I'm lazy. Now, I'm curious to see Evil Eye is currently responding to this, not at all. Holy fucking gateways, Batman. Well, here's the deal. Theoretically, obviously, Dragoons can be microed against Zealots and defend them just fine. However, there's about to be a total boatload of Zealots showing up in the base, right? Like a total boatload of Zealots. To the extent that there's going to be so many Zealots, so the Dragoons are going to have a hard time killing them. This assumes he micros well. If he messes up his Dragoon micro, he will die. But if he keeps his Dragoons alive until he gets 3 or 4, he'll hold this off reasonably well. But it's that interim period where you have to keep your probes alive sufficiently as you micro your Dragoons. And whoa, this is just getting more crazy by the second. So, yeah, and if he's just make a battery, although he's going to lose the probe if he tries the... What? It's like right there. I think Evil Eye doesn't even actually... Or, Laser Snipe doesn't even see that, depending on where the Zealots are sitting. It's like the probe is out of vision. Oh, no, it is in vision. Okay. He's got his Zealots far enough up the ramp. He's probably super confused now, like, what the fuck is going on? I almost feel like he's taking too long. Like, he should start microing right now. I mean, the Dragoons are below the ramp, which is also wonderful for Jordaddy. He's picked a good map to do this on. And now, all of a sudden, he's a little bit more concerned. He's going 3 gateways and adding a robo facility. In fact, he's just playing 3-gate Dragoon, which is a good build. I like this build quite a bit. But it's going to come down here to some micro... Oh, he's walking out. This might not be the best time to walk out. Jordaddy needs to go, man. You're not getting speed. It's not like you're waiting. Just go, or else you're going to let him have like 4 Dragoons when you show up, and it's going to be super easy for him. In fact, he already has range. I think Laser Snipe should hold... Well, it was a little bit of a slow reaction, but I think Laser Snipe should hold this off okay, although getting this Dragoon trap was not the start he wanted. I like sending one Zealot back to harass the probes. Should pull this back a little bit. Micro not 100% for Laser Snipe, but you can see he's already whittling down the Dragoons. Jordaddy has just waited an awful long time, although Laser Snipe, with the Zealot in the main, losing control of the Dragoons, and it's very important to keep Dragoons alive here. Now he's got range, so that's making the micro much more relaxed for him than it otherwise would have been. And now with 4 Dragoons out, this should be really no serious threat at this point. I mean, he can run these in, but he's just going to walk back and micro them. And with 4 Dragoons, he can grab probes and drill and just clean them up really quickly. So, looking pretty good for Laser Snipe. Would need some serious mistakes at this point to lose this game. You can see he's already starting to micro against this. Just needs to be careful of getting caught off from his ramp. Again, splitting off one Zealot. It's a nice maneuver. Didn't manually move that Dragoon up, so that's an unfortunate loss, although he's got 3 gateways out now. 5 Dragoons should be more than enough to hold it off. Trying to split up his Dragoons to defend this. Looks like he'll get a probe killer too, but Laser Snipe's bleeding a few Dragoons, but he's keeping his count up at 3 or 4, which is enough to deal with this comfortably. Now back to 5. Moving back with the micro. And, oh, he's got to be careful though. I'd rather see him collect his Dragoons. If you're really, really good mechanically, you can fight in 2 places like this. Most players at this level, that's too much to ask for, so I think it's better in those cases just to keep yourself clustered together and drill is needed. But he is holding this off just fine. Finally has finished that round off, and now he's got 6 Dragoons out, so these Zealots are going to do nothing. I don't even think they'll be able to walk into the base this time, and we should see Laser Snipe able to walk across and finish him off here. We can see no tech has been put down in the meantime. Slightly bizarrely, Jordaddy actually mined 608 gas, although the probe was alive for quite a while, so perhaps he mined the gas the entire time the probe was alive to make it look convincing. But unfortunately, Jordaddy just waited too long. It didn't give that build the chance it deserved. Laser Snipe continuing to bleed a few too many Dragoons, but he's still got the count up high, just microing back, and now I think he is fully repulsed. Actually, that's not the right word, is it? Repelled Jordaddy. Shield battery about to... He can't even rally Zealots in at this point. And of course, with absolutely no tech, there's 0 chance to live against this build. And Laser Snipe will be taking your game. Well, the probe was alive for a long time, so I would have to go back and rewatch the rep, but he's going to hide a few Zealots and do one last thing. Honestly, the few Zealots that come out from this gateway could be kind of annoying for Evil Eye, but in the meantime, like, he can just move the Dragoons into the base and micro back home and not even be stressed with his multitasking. So he's going to get walked over here. He's going to do 4 Zealot counter, but there'll be 3 or 4 Dragoons for laser snipe here at the natural, and because slow zealots will not ever take on this many dragoons, and because there's no gateways left in the main, he can just continue the A move procession, and that'll be that. Yeah, and that's exactly what he's going to do. A move those dragoons, micro over here, and win the game. So laser snipe pulling out a nice victory, and there it is, GG from Jordaddy. Honestly, I think the build could have worked. I really do. I just think Jordaddy took way too long to start the attack. Way too long. Should have been before or at the first round of zealots from those 3 gateways. Actually, probably before, to already have him back on the ramp, already have him working hard on his micro. But when you just sit there and let range and 3 or 4 dragoons finish, I guess he had 3. It's too much already to be effective with the zealots, assuming the Protoss shows good control. So here we go. Game 2 between Laser Snipe and Jordaddy. In the top left-hand position as the orange Protoss, we have Jordaddy. And in the bottom right-hand corner of what is almost certainly Fighting Spirit, as the yellow Protoss, we have Laser Snipe on confirmed Fighting Spirit. Oh yeah. We'll see what plans they have for this map. Laser Snipe, I usually expect him to play pretty standard. He's usually a pretty standard macro-oriented Protoss. And in Curiosity's honor, I'm going to eat some delicious blueberries for him, because he was just mentioning how amazingly good they are. And I have to admit, he was absolutely right. These blueberries are fantastic. I can't eat grapes, though, because that would be like stealing Sale's thing. I actually have some grapes, and I thought about getting those, but I was like, nah, I'm not Sale. I can't do it. Alright, so we have a Pylon Scout for Jordaddy. Or a sneaky pro, but he's behaving mostly like a scout. Pylon out for Laser Snipe, no need to scout quite yet. This has already been quite a long cast, and we're not even done. Those initial PVTs were all like 30-minute games. I think every other cast I've done has been like an hour and a half, 2 hours for like 6 to 8 games. We started off with an hour and a half for our first 3. We still got, what, 3 more after this? 4 more after this? I forget. Gateway on the way for Laser Snipe. Only green grapes. Really? He didn't eat purple grapes? Oh man, purple grapes are better. They make red wine, right? And red wine is the best wine. Although wine in general is good. It's really the only alcoholic beverage I care for. Beer has not really fallen into the realm of enjoyment for me yet. I grew up drinking soda, and I can't adjust to beer with any food. And obviously at parties you just drink shitty beers, so it doesn't do anything for me liking beer. Alright, got probes going on to gas here for Jordaddy quite a bit. Oh, never mind. They've got gas almost the same timing. Alright, so Jordaddy coming on through the mineral line of Laser Snipe, taking a look. Zealots on the way. Or I guess we could call them Zlots. First slot out for Laser Snipe. No, oh, 1 slot out for Jordaddy as well. Where's the cores? Where's the cores? Both players. Wait, he's doing two zealots before core for Laser Snipe. Taking things real nice and slow and safe. Jordaddy feeling a little more rambunctious. Gonna go for the core after 1 zealot. Neither player quite feeling ballsy enough to go core first or no zealot. Core first, no zealot. That's kind of like the PVT hierarchy. Like the most greedy, I guess if you want to call it that, would be just core first and skip zealot. That's pretty risky. And you can go for core first but make a zealot while the core is building. And then you can go for zealot, core, zealot. Or you can go for zealot, zealot, core. Anything later than that, more than that, and you're just being goofy. Unless you're like, 2 gating or something. So the core finishes for Laser Snipe. And the core is done for Jordaddy. Well, if you look at it, Laser Snipe is definitely doing a better job with his build because he has his Dragoon out at almost the same time as Jordaddy, but opted for 2 zealots first. And a Robo on the way here for Jordaddy. And it looks like a second gateway? Unless, I would think if he's going to make a Robo, he'd put it over here. Okay, he's going to make a Robo. So if he puts it over there, that's fine. So we're gonna have Robo. Good position for the Robo. Usually, depending on what I mean, it depends a little bit on what you're planning to do. But if you're planning to do anything with Reaver, certainly a thing expand base. We can see Probe finally dying over there. It's nice to have it close because then you can get those crawl Reavers out really fast. It's like mandatory if you're gonna Reaver expand. But in any build where you're gonna have a little bit of a later Reaver, it's nice to have that to just be able to crawl down to the natural. If you build it like back here, it'll just take your Reaver forever if you need a defensive Reaver and don't have a shuttle. And Jordaddy coming across the map, going to do a little poke at the front. Now we notice Jordaddy's just on the Robo facility, just on the single gateway, so there's quite a strong possibility he's got 300 minerals. It's quite a strong possibility he's going to opt for the 3-gate OBS build again. He could still go for 1 base Reaver, but I am curious to see. Okay, so fighting the Dragoon here, getting off a lot of hits with those Zealots. Looks like this might delay his build a little bit, or maybe he's feeling confident. He's just going to come down here and Nexus, having no problem getting rid of Jordaddy's army. Lots of minerals being built up. I really hope this is a Nexus. Okay, so he's going to opt for Nexus. Again, that explains why the Robo is so nicely snug to the ramp. That will allow that defensive Reaver to get right down quickly and efficiently. Probe's kind of everywhere right now. Oh, that is so ballsy. I guess, though, he knows Dragoons with range have come across. That's not... Okay, I take that back. Not quite as ballsy as I was saying. I was thinking, hey, if he's going DTs, like, you're auto-losing by doing this. But he's been inside the base a little bit. Probably seen the spinning core. And then, of course, he was just attacked by Dragoons that had range. So that's fine. Makes sense. Pylon at the bridge. Nice little disruptive pylon there. Always a good place to put him. Enemy tries to attack in. Their Dragoons stop and start shooting at this, and your units and Reavers get a few free hits off while theirs be stupid, while theirs act stupid. He sees that there's not a Nexus, just far enough in to see that. So he's going to be feeling confidently about his position and knowing that all he has to do is defend for another couple minutes and he'll be in a prime position. Reaver is on the way here. How's the Reaver timing of both players? Look at that. It is just a little bit faster for Laser Snipe, but really there's not a huge difference between the Reaver of both players. No speed over here. And Jordaddy's attempting to get another scout off, but Laser Snipe is in good position. That scout will not be able to get by. I doubt it would even be able to confirm a Nexus. Making a pylon there, I like that. Serves the both spot and make it that much harder to get the third. Probe meets its death right there. Ob's on the way though. And now we see an Obs is on the way for Laser Snipe as well. Adding a second gateway, and I don't know where this Reaver is going. Okay, there we go. Now we're repositioning it a little bit better, and Jordaddy is going to see exactly what he is up against, which is a significantly faster Nexus for Laser Snipe. Definitely going to want to get some damage done here with the shuttle and Reaver harass initially. Either that or just go for an attack and make it work. I mean, he does have 2 gateways. He will have a shuttle. And Laser Snipe will be lacking quite the Dragoon count and the shuttle of Jordaddy. But with the expansion coming down, I don't think Jordaddy is going to go for the attack. I suspect he is just going to sit back there. Oh, wait, did he get speed? No, I was going to say, I don't think he got speed. In fact, he's... that's surprising. He's got Obs in there. He knows what's going on. He's seen the fast Nexus, and yet he has Dragoons pulled back to defend shuttle harass. Oh, he almost gets the Reaver, or the Obs from Laser Snipe. So close. Now, has he picked up his Reavers and gone out? That is a bold path, and oh, look at this spotting for Laser Snipe. If he's paying any attention, he knows there's a shuttle out on the map. And this is a bold move. I wonder if he's clicked the shuttle with these Dragoons, or if he's just going to try to put them in an unexpected place. Jordaddy seems unconfident in wanting to harass right now. It's like either he saw the blur of the Obs and got scared, or he's just not quite sure if Laser Snipe might attack or something. We can see Laser Snipe's up here taking a look for that shuttle, trying to find it, but doesn't. He's going to leave 1 goon, which is not a bad idea. It may walk right into that shuttle, in fact. Oh no, actually it's going away at the wrong time. So, Jordaddy, whether by plan and skill or by luck, is doing a nice job of faking out Laser Snipe here and is sneaking the shuttle right into position. Now the question is, how is Laser Snipe's reaction? Reaver's down. No, pretty good, pretty good. It will likely get a probe or two, but good reaction timing. Jordaddy needs a little bit more harassed than that if he wants to get back in the game. He does have the Nexus down. Just looking at the probe count, though, he's not doing a terrible job catching up. If he can get a few more probes, he will be into a pretty comfortable economic position, not feeling too disadvantaged at all. And, you know, supply is also reflecting that. Shuttle now moving in this way, although I think there's going to be a lot of Dragoons defending the main, so this is a risky mission for the shuttle. The shuttle is likely forfeiting its life, so it's a question of, will it get a scarab that is worth it? Oh my god, oh no, it went to the wrong... Oh, it does get a big scarab off, though. Laser Snipe's probe count gets wrecked. Does trade a Reaver for it, but that was a solid 10 or 12 probes going down to that. And honestly, I don't think he'll be feeling that. Well, he might need to remake a Reaver, though, or two. This is dangerous. If Laser Snipe comes across with the shuttle here and attacks right now, he can certainly put on some serious pressure. He doesn't even have to commit, but he can just come on and just be aggressive at the bridges, poke at the Dragoons, soften up the army, cause a lot of problems for Jordaddy, but economically, Jordaddy is now sitting in a lovely position against Laser Snipe, who does, of course, immediately get back on the probe replenishment train, realizing the value. Yeah, most of these guys are C-, around there. D+, C-, C would be the level. There's a few guys that are like true D- guys, and there's a couple guys that are pushing C+, but by and large, I would say the average level of the skill league is low to mid C-. I mean, yeah, Doc, you'd be solidly, you know, middle of the pack in this league at least. You could still join too. As far as I know, they're still letting new players in. There's still teams I think that could benefit from having some more players. Oh, we got a DT. DT and a Zealot. I guess Laser Snipe's not going to attack or put pressure on with the Reavers. I kind of would have liked to have seen it. He doesn't have to, but having lost those probes, it wouldn't have been a bad way. The other thing you can do too, when you put pressure on, is you come to the front, you get position on these bridges, which is pretty good anyway. And you can actually come to the bridge, get position, take a third behind it, because it's really hard for the Protoss to get out. There's a lot of things you can do with that, and then you can also, you know, kind of poke in and then pivot around with the shuttle. There's a lot of nice moves you can do. This DT is fantastic, though. This is a great place for it. Gonna absolutely block the Nexus. That probe will die, I think. Well, actually, maybe he knows there's a DT chasing it. Nope. That probe is cleaned up. This is the CPL League games. Oh, the DT gets spotted. Oh, but he doesn't finish it off. Does he know he didn't finish it off? Or is he going to lose more probes? To, what is he doing? No, this is too aggressive. Don't lose your DT for no reason. And now Jordaddy is coming out across the map. If he just sets up outside the bridge, I love it. If he tries to attack, I think he's being awfully ballsy. But hanging out at the bridge, getting position, we're doing a little bit of work to deny the third. I think those are all good decisions to make. And yeah, Doc Holiday, I've told you about this league before. CPL? I know I've mentioned it to you in chat. You totally should check it out. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Free coaching, good games, good camaraderie, people to practice with. Pretty much all the stuff that's nice about Brood War. At least if you ask for my opinion. Alright, so Jordaddy he's going to split some Zealots off. Oh, that's nice. Jordaddy's doing some nice stuff in this game. Looking a lot more solid. I wasn't especially impressed with his decision-making last game, but he is playing this game much nicer. Going to force Laser Snipe back off there, and now Laser Snipe has to decide how much does he commit. The only concern for Jordaddy is that Laser Snipe is starting to get a really nice-looking army, particularly with his tech, and maybe he's even feeling confident enough to attack. I think he needs to wait at least for Psystorm. Actually, he's already got some Psystorms on these guys. So the one concern is that with all this tech, this is going to be a pretty dangerous army, and Jordaddy does not have that tech. Oh, he's got... Well, he's going to need some High Templar on the ground if Laser Snipe tries to break out. Now, Laser Snipe will have a little bit of a task in breaking out, although with the current positioning of Jordaddy, Laser Snipe can break out super easily. He can just go up here, get a beautiful arc, and just attack this army, storm the shit out of it, and win the battle. But if
Jordaddy sets up a better arc across the bridge, becomes a much bigger issue, and Laser Snipe requires better micro. But Laser Snipe is going to try exactly what I said. How quickly does Jordaddy respond? If he can catch the army when it's divided up, it'll be a lot stronger of an attack, and Laser Snipe actually wants to kind of flank this army from both sides. And here comes the shuttle. These are all of his High Templar, though. It goes down, and the Storm is pretty well dodged, only killing 4 or 5 probes, and of course that's going to cost him all of his High Templar, which is a pretty significant cost. And now Laser Snipe is moving in position for that flank. How well can he control it? With good storms, has the possibility to absolutely decimate the lesser tech army of Jordaddy. Does he know what's coming? His army is getting more positioned across the bridges, and we are going to have a pretty important battle right now on both sides. Does he know what's coming? Some storms hitting from Laser Snipe right now on both sides, mostly on the Dragoons. One side is going terrible for Laser Snipe, the other side is going good, but I think overall Jordaddy is getting the better of this fight, and Laser Snipe just not hitting the storms he needs. A few more will go down. Reaver's arriving here, but can they get enough damage done? They're being forced to pick up, but there is a lot of units left from Jordaddy, who has got enough over here to also deny the third, and Laser Snipe getting pummeled right now. The attack not going his way. I think Jordaddy is about to just march across to victory. Honestly, I'm pretty surprised that went that badly for Laser Snipe. I expected it to be close, but that just did not work at all for Laser Snipe. And yeah, ending life. Laser Snipe is a pretty surprising Protoss, especially for low APM. He does a good job with it. Obviously pretty spam-free APM, but yeah, good awareness. And so this will force a game 3 between the two. I gotta say too, that's one of the nicest looking games I've seen so far from Jordaddy. He looked quite strong in that game. So in the top left-hand corner, as the blue Protoss, we have Laser Snipe. And in the right-hand side, as the red Protoss, in their final match, we have Jordaddy. So we'll see. Circuit Breaker. If does Laser Snipe just pick it because it's a map did he just pick it because it's a map he's comfortable with, and you know, just knows well and feels good playing on, or does he have a strategy in mind for this map? Let's see. And we'll see if Jordaddy can continue to chain some better games. And I'm trying to think of his other games. That might have been the first game I've seen of him where he's actually tried to play more of a macro game, and honestly, it looked pretty solid. At least for the rank we're talking about. Alright, Pylon going up. I mean, yeah, obviously it didn't look pretty solid compared to Bisu, but I suppose that goes without saying. Pylon going up for both players. Pretty much identical timings, just like 10 or 15 HP faster for Laser Snipe. That's my little game I like to play nowadays. Before, like, I mean, you can do it as Zerg or Protoss or Terran, whoever, but I like to see what time I can get my Overlord out at. It's like a little game. Like, can you get it under 53 seconds? Can you get it under 52 seconds? Like, really bad is like a minute if you like have like a shitty split and you're kind of lazy with how you do your workers. And sometimes if you do everything right, it seems like you can hit like 52, 53 seconds. I haven't been able to get out an Overlord faster than like 53 seconds. Well, I think 52 is my record. Average is like 55. Of course, I think that would come a smidge slower than a Pylon, because a Pylon you build on 8, right? So a Pylon maybe would be closer to like 50 seconds? 48 seconds? Maybe even a little bit earlier, because Overlord needs 100 minerals too. 9 drones plus 100 minerals. Probe is just, or Pylon is just 8. No, it's 100 minerals. Never mind. Just 50 mineral offset. Oh! Well, after playing a strong macro game, Jordaddy decides he wants to do something interesting. Now, I was going to say one thing that might have been cute. Left side of the map. Yeah, that probably helps. I always forget to do the Overlord trick on that side, but I imagine if you kept doing that, that could probably optimize you down to 49 or 50 seconds. I'll have to make a point to remember that for next time. Alright, so we got a Cybernetics core on the way for Laser Snipe. Now, this Pylon is interesting, but he's going to have a... maybe it's just to freak Laser Snipe out when he scouts the base, because other than that, he's looking like he's playing pretty standard back at home. But he's going to have a hell of a time getting over here to actually build any sneaky buildings.
The only thing he could have done, although with the gateway here it's pretty hard to do, is if he was going to try to send another probe in and just hope Laser Snipe wasn't looking while he was microing this one and try to get it by. But honestly, you know, you'd have to do something pretty distracting to get a player to miss a second probe entering his base when there's that much vision and area to travel through. But certainly, if Laser Snipe is paying attention and thinking about pylon counts, he's probably going, what the f... This isn't right, but it looks normal. Why? And the probe, where's it headed? Is it going to finally die? Laser Snipe, for 80 APM, I don't know how you keep a probe alive with 80 APM like that. Like, I need so many clicks just to get the probe to path where I want it to path and not run into things that are chasing it. You know? And now it obviously died and now the Dragoon's out, but... I mean, that was like, a probe alive for a solid 4 minutes with 75 APM. I seriously don't know how you get it to, like, not just be a retarded probe with that much APM. Or with that little APM. Because obviously, with 75 APM, you're not sitting there, like, spam-clicking the probe around the base to make it move in, like, nice little controlled angles. You're just occasionally clicking on it ever so often to keep it alive. Robotics facility just about done for Jordaddy. Pylon still completely undiscovered. Oh, he's finally gonna find it, right? He's got to see it now, right? Right? Oh shit, not quite yet. Man, how? But no, shift clicking can't possibly. It doesn't. Oh, does it? But then it should get hit with the little stutter because shift click has that little delay in between where I would think. Certainly with Lings, there's no way you could do it. Maybe Zealots, the probe is just enough faster. Like if the Zealots aren't microed, that the Zealots just don't quite catch it up to it in that little gap. But now does he see it? The pylon is done. Does he finally see the bazaar? No, it's just out of vision. It's so close, but just out of vision. Oh man, if the pylon had built like right there, he'd have it. He'd totally have it. Dragoons on the way, and oh, this is fast Reavers from Laser Snipe. But this time, well, is it going to be an expand? Probably not, because getting a Reaver before expansion is a little bit interesting. Although I've never played many expand builds in PvP. I use this one of those maps where the Nexus just doesn't look right. I feel like I think what happens is I like want the Nexus to be like cradled by the minerals, and the fact that it's like up here doesn't feel right, but if you look at the gas, it's fine. So this is a slightly different version of what he did last time. Last time he did Nexus first and then got the support bay and crawled the Reaver down. This time he opted to get the support bay first, although he did not start the Reaver. Another probe coming over for Laser Snipe, although it will not get any intel. Dragoons are set up in a nice concave here, so this guy's just going to die. Absolutely does not go far enough to get vision of a potential Nexus, and oh, close, but not enough there for that probe either. He would not have had sufficient vision, and we can see the 3 gates are out for Jordaddy, which is a bit of a dangerous situation for Laser Snipe if that Reaver's not... Okay, well, no, he's going Obs first. If Jordaddy moved across the map right now with the reinforcing Dragoons, he could potentially cause some trouble for Laser Snipe, especially if he did get the better of him in some early micro. But with the Reaver coming down the ramp now, I think it's going to be hard to really get anything done if he wanted to play aggressively. He'd have to just like get a super glorious Reaver Snipe, and oh, nice chase here from Laser Snipe. Gonna pick off that Observer. Oh, he lets it sneak away. Yeah, he's gonna be okay. Like I said, there might have been the slightest of windows had Jordaddy come a little bit earlier, although if you look at the goon count, it's really not that uneven. It would have come down to control, and basically could somebody get off some really good initial shots, and that might have opened up a window for Jordaddy, but wasn't feeling that aggressive. And finally, guess what has been found? El Pylano. Reaver out now, Scarabs are being built, Jordaddy collecting his forces down here, or left here, or whatever you want to call it, and adding... Oh, he's coming with a Reaver. Okay, so we could see a Reaver shuttle timing attack off of 3 gateways. Pretty strong timing attack. Would come very much down to control. And oh, the probe is going to see it, but is the shuttle coming? Oh, you got to bring the shuttle, man. Please don't. No, 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 don't go for it without the shuttle. Please don't. I doubt there's just enough to bulldog through. I mean, there are 2 Dragoons that were up fighting that. If he could kill the Reaver really fast, this might work, and he's certainly being aggressive. And now he is on top of the Dragoons of Evil Eye. But remember, Evil Eye, or Laser Snipe does have Dragoons in the base. Well, they've actually just come down and rejoined right now. And he is going to have to pull back up his ramp. He's waiting for that Reaver. Is the shuttle coming across? The shuttle is not yet coming across, but the position is good for Jordaddy. This is dangerous for Laser Snipe right now. He should not be trying to come down this ramp until the Reaver is there. He can't do it. He's down in numbers. I mean, he is up the ramp, but definitely coming down the ramp. I don't think that makes the most sense. Now Jordaddy bringing the Dragoons. This might be the shuttle, the long-lasted shuttle, although as long as it was sitting there with that Reaver, he could have had 2 Reavers, so definitely a few things Jordaddy could look at being better for next game, but right now he certainly has a chance to get some damage done here, or maybe even take out the natural. He's going to have to pull back, wait for his shuttle, but he has the advantage of mobility against no mobility. He needs to spread these goons out a bit. Nice pickup, gets that off. Now can he get some good shots on the Reaver? Right now not getting it, and oh, that's a good Reaver shot for Laser Snipe. Picks it up, and the Reaver will go down, but there's just the shuttle now. So I think this will be held by Laser Snipe, which is going to put Jordaddy in a very unfortunate position unless Jordaddy can kill a lot of probes. A few more Dragoons coming across the ramp. Let's remember, though, Laser Snipe does have 3 gateways, so they are on equal reinforcements. And the shuttle, if the shuttle gets picked off, that is really not good for Jordaddy. It's still a potential to do damage. Drops the Reaver. Reaver should get sniped now by Laser Snipe, and the shuttle is dead too. And I think there's enough now for Laser Snipe to hold this off, which will put him in a fine position, even though he did take some damage in that attack. Should be another Reaver on the way, and Laser Snipe now going down, being a little bit aggressive, getting a few shots off though, making it work. Jordaddy obviously reinforcing across the map. That is an assload of gateways. These are bad macro gateways. You can sort of do 4 gateways for a short period of time. 5 is just like, oops, I slipped on my macro, especially considering there is a shuttle with Reaver there. And Laser Snipe now feeling confident enough to just walk down the ramp, and this is basically a one-on-one fight. There's not very much target firing going on, and oh, Laser Snipe losing control of a few of his Dragoons. These are out of position. There we go. He notices him, pulls him back. Reaver out. There should be Scarabs on this. Where are the Scarabs? Needs a few Scarabs, and that should completely put an end to this attacking. The Reaver is like, I don't know what it's doing. It's going a little too far forward, but Laser Snipe seems aware of that. And right now, Laser Snipe just has better macro. I mean, let's face it, with like, actually he's got 4 gates, but with 4 gates, he is outproducing Jordaddy, who has like 5 gateways. We can see just too many gateways. I mean, look at this. There's like, he's got all his money spent. There's at least 2 that just can't macro right now. 3 that can't macro. You know, just overkill gateways. 3 is like the max you can do if you're making Reaver, and 4 you can do for a couple rounds with a specific probe cuts at specific timings. And now I think Laser Snipe is nice and safe. Once he gets a second Reaver. Oh, I don't like that decision. I think he's still going to be okay, but I don't like the decision to go into OBS. Perhaps worried about a potential DT follow-up, but realistically that isn't going to happen if the opponent already went Reaver. And he's already... Wait, oh, this... I don't like this decision at all to make more OBS. I mean, he has slightly reshuffled, but I would say always get out 2 Reavers and get your shuttle out when you're under this kind of pressure, especially when you're ahead. It's going to work out for him. He's okay. I mean, you can't get across these bridges like this, but I would still have preferred to see the second Reaver. And it's looking like a pretty solid hold at this point for Laser Snipe. Now, there is a shuttle coming in to harass. I don't think Jordaddy can attack now, but if Jordaddy does poke in, although it's too late for that, I was going to say, if he does poke in, Dragoons are all over this. I don't know what route these probes are taking. That is a whack-ass route. It is a whack-ass route, but the shuttle is forgotten about for some reason. I don't know what caught his attention, but something certainly caught his attention. He is dropping this Reaver. He's going to get 2 probes with it, but can he get out alive? No. He's dead. Very dead. So down goes the Reaver. Probe should be transferring back shortly. Reaver assassinated. Jordaddy does have his base up, but again, the macro edge from Laser Snipe pretty solid. Although Laser Snipe needs to be careful. He has not been doing that wonderful of a job making probes during this entire attack, nor has he resaturated his base. And Jordaddy is actually a little bit ahead now economically. So Laser Snipe still with a vastly superior army. But if Jordaddy isn't, or if Laser Snipe isn't careful, Jordaddy is actually going to start to pull ahead a little bit in the macro side of things. Zealot coming out, and of course, you know, with the Reavers especially, Laser Snipe can easily come up here on the high ground, get the Reavers down, and push Jordaddy back. I mean, Jordaddy can probably block him from going across the bridges, but certainly the option to pivot around to the high ground and push him back off that with good Reaver utilization. Switching into Zealots for Jordaddy, hopefully leg speed is imminent. Okay, a smidge early on on leg speed, halfway is kind of the golden benchmark standard. Switching to Zealots about halfway, but no attack from Laser Snipe coming, so this will be totally okay to start building Zealots. You know, 20 seconds on the premature side. Hello, and all right, Laser Snipe is moving out now, so this is going to come down primarily to shuttle control. Leg speed ought to be finishing up. Actually, he needs to pull back. He does not have leg speed. He cannot engage this without leg speed for sure. Laser Snipe will need to swing up the high ground and down around to make any sort of an attack work. I can't believe Jordaddy is going to meet him on the ground like this, although Laser Snipe has messed up with a shuttle, but Jordaddy was not ready to target fire, and this is going to be terrible. Laser Snipe has this engagement, and with it the game. GG, well played, but way too much firepower and just not the engagement Jordaddy needed, and I just cannot imagine him defending at this point. Well, maybe the DTs, but there is an OBS there, and now Laser Snipe has enough to just run over the bridges pretty much on a move. I mean, he can go over the high ground if he wants. He's looking for it, trying to decide which way to go. A few Dragoons are going to be silly, but it might actually work out, because if one or two attacking from down here, it's actually not hurting you at all. And now Laser Snipe pivoting around, continuing the attack. Where are the reinforcements? If that was a DT, that would have actually been a cool move. Oh, he actually loses the shot. Maybe there's a chance he can hold. I guess I spoke too early. I did not expect. After the initial shuttle control, I thought he was going to be fine. But now, there might be enough for Jordaddy to hold. I mean, Laser Snipe definitely still has the better army. Although, has he killed the OBS? Has he killed the OBS? If he's killed the OBS... Oh, this was... Oh, my... Laser Snipe having a little bit of trouble here at this point. And he's starting to get aggressive, but I think with two DTs attacking his army, he's going to have to get freaked out. And at this point, Laser Snipe might be overextending just a little bit. And this Reaver is doing nothing. Oh, but his OBS is there. Okay, that's why he stayed around. That makes sense. So Dragoon's doing some damage. This one Dragoon here was almost getting a pylon kill. Where are the reinforcements? All right, here come the Zealots. Let's see how the micro is. It would be wonderful to have this Reaver join the fight. I think he is fighting... Jordaddy now fighting a little bit too piecemeal and is being a little too slow to pull his probes. If he keeps sacrificing units in here, he will definitely lose to the reinforcement, and he might already have waited just a little too long to pull the probes and do something about these Dragoons. We can see Laser Snipe is microing back, and Jordaddy says GG. Laser Snipe will take it. Jordaddy close to holding that. Once he killed the Reaver, or well, like initially the attack went really bad. Jordaddy ran deep in, looked like he had the Reaver. Then when he didn't assassinate the Reaver, it was just like over. He lost half of his army in a flash. And then he pulled back, and then Laser Snipe messing up really bad, not fighting with one of his Reaver, losing his other one really quickly. And I thought Jordaddy was going to hold, but then he just kind of streamed in one unit at a time with no probe pull and kind of threw away his possible chance at defending. All right, so now we have our last games of the night, which is going to be Shoop de Whoopa versus DNH. Oh, this thing is... oh, the spot is funny. All right, so in the top right-hand corner as the orange Terran, we have INS DNH. And in the bottom right-hand corner as the brown Protoss, we have Shoop de Whoopa. So we'll have to see how Shoop de Whoopa looks. Certainly from a few players, he's been getting really, really hyped up. And I have actually not casted like a long... well, I haven't casted a PvT from Shoop de Whoopa at all. I've only seen a couple of all-in games from him. So we'll have to see if he is living up to the hype or if certain players have just been overhyping the skill of Shoop de Whoopa here. Laser Snipe is C-, and Jordaddy can probably get C-. And yes, if the times are times that I can fit into my schedule, sure. It would be an interesting match to cast. A little bit of PvT action. Sunstar's a Protoss, right? I think so. All right, so Shoop de Whoopa with the pylon, obviously. And a pylon on anything other than 8 is pretty weird, and pretty much wouldn't make any sense. And then, of course, Gateway. And will he scout after Gateway? Nope. Now, in our earlier PvT, we saw a little bit of 10-15 gate action. Do I have a FB like is in Facebook? I mean, yeah, I do. If you want to use that to contact me, that works. You can also use Discord. I really don't care. I mean, or we can correspond by, like, you know, letter correspondence. It'll probably mean the show match won't start for a few weeks, but if you want to, like, mail letters back and forth to shut up a show match, be super old school. No, I'm not really serious, but... well, I guess he must if BLRM Music is setting up, or... That's not BLRM. That's BL... Blair Music? I don't know how I'm actually supposed to pronounce your name. Or maybe it's just BL3R Music. Terran Barracks on the way, and gas for DNH. I mean, you know, not much to say, pretty standard opening. So DNH is a solid C- Terran, and Shoop to Whooper is, like I said, we don't know. Anywhere between C- and, I joke, B. I mean, like I said, I think it's overkill, but I've heard a couple players, you know, really, really hyping up Shoop to Whooper. Alright, BL3R, can you message me that on Twitch? Because I can't do it right now. Obviously, I'm in-game, and it will be sort of lost in the chat, and I might forget. What's my address? Well, it's Fort Collins, it's West Elizabeth Street, and it's 4 numbers. Actually, I'm kind of waiting for someone to just, like, I know I say more than enough that anybody that wants to could easily figure out where I live, so I'm kind of waiting for some, like, random TL person to just show up at my house and be like, yo, L-Master, what's up? Yeah, it would be interesting to see. Obviously, Sunstar didn't have much luck in the couple Filthy Cups that he played. But I don't know, it is true. TVP is TVP and tends to be a Terran's weakest matchup. So, machine shop on the way. Have we taken a few off gas? Oh, we still got all 3 on gas. Well, maybe we're up to something here. Waiting to find out. He's gonna have a lot of gas if he isn't taking one off. Still definitely got 3 on gas. But for right now, just coming out to the bridge. Let me know your name. My name is Eric. Eric Morgan. If you want to find me, hunt me down on Facebook. You can find me if you use that info. That should be enough info. Eric Morgan, Fort Collins, CSU. I don't know. There's a lot of things you can use if you still can't find me. Because if you send me a friend request, then I'll just find that. Oh! Chupahupa runs right up here, but all those Marines on the high ground are going to do a lot of damage to the Dragoons. This is very aggressive from Chupahupa, but he's going to lose a Dragoon. Probably too aggressive. Trading a Dragoon for a couple Marines, not the best trade. Now, most of the HP is still good on that Dragoon, but... Out of curiosity, what is Sunstar's story? I mean, you know, does he have anything to differentiate him from, you know, a bunch of other Korean players? Like, is he an amateur? Has he been playing for a long time? Is he a young up-and-comer? You know, all that kind of stuff would be interesting to know. Like, does he have a connection to the American scene? Like, how did he find out, or not American scene, foreign scene? How did he find out about the tournaments? All that kind of stuff would be sort of cool to know. Obviously, we know all about Scan's story. You know, he speaks English, he's lived in America, etc., etc. But now DNH coming across the map, has the tank. It is going to be an FD. I'm really surprised he didn't take guys off gas. He's got a shit ton of gas as a result. And Chupahupa nicely positioned at the ramp, moving back. Should have no problem holding off the FD. 3 Dragoons set up like that, especially up a ramp, will be really hard to deal with. Interview him. I don't speak sufficient Korean to be able to do that. In fact, if I don't speak sufficient Korean, I think the only Korean words I know is komsamida, which I honestly even forget what that means. So that is the extent of my ability to interview somebody in Korean. Unless, of course, we just did it in English. But if we did it in English, I'd have to talk really fast and just make it a crazy interview so they can be thinking about it, you know, like go like that and just make it impossible for him to understand anything. He's been pretty secretive. Sunstar was a B-teamer. Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm sure he's a straw. I'm sure he's at least B. Has Scan hit A on Fish? I mean, judging from his results and how he's done, I get the impression he probably can or has, but I'd be interested to know. if he formally has hit A rank on fish. Bunch of Dragoons on the way. 3 gateways, getting the expansion up. Oh, has he hit S? I mean, that would make sense, given his results, but... Okay, so he's been way up there. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, S is max. I did not realize though that he'd been S, but all right, that's that's good to know. I was giving not nearly enough credit. That's like the not trying to be insulting, but you're just accidentally insulting because you're just like way too off in like guessing how good somebody is, or at least what rank they've hit. It'd be like asking Ending Life. Ending Life, have you hit C yet? And it's like, what the fuck, man? Don't give me that crap. Oh, wait, what? Oh, they look like they were different colors, but yeah, now he's splitting up his obs a little bit more. Gonna fly everything. And if somebody was asking about my main race, I don't know who that was directed to, Bizu UU, but if you're asking about my race, it is Zerg. If you're asking about Scan's race, it's Terran. If you're asking about Sunstar, it's Protoss. If you're asking about Evil Eye, it's Protoss. If you're asking about Ending Life, it's Protoss. If you're asking about BL3R music, I don't know. Sorry. If you're asking about these players in the game, well, I imagine it's what they're playing. In fact, I know it is. Yeah, I was Protoss main until like 6 months ago, and now I'm playing Zerg. And that cannot be a tight wall, but... Well, I shouldn't say cannot, but if it is, it would be quite shocking. But I think you can put a second depot there and have it pretty walled off. Alright, nice little obs over the factories. Getting a look at what is going on. Oh, Cecil Sunker's a Terran? I thought for sure... I had in my head you were Protoss. Shows what I know. Oh, look at this. Mine blocking... Wait, actually... Oh, shit, I honestly don't know if that's walled. I'm leaning towards yes. But I want to know. I don't think a Vulture can get past there. Although it's Brood War, so you can never tell. Like, it's possible the Vulture just fits nicely. It's also possible that's impassable. But I guarantee you the mine is blocking a third possible pylon. DNH does go ahead and put down the second supply depot. Command center almost up. Going into a very fast starport here. Off of 2 factories. Looks like he's going starport before any of his armories. So are there fast arbs from Shoop Dawuba? And the answer appears to be a definitive no. Completely gonna wall off this base. Well, no, that's a 1 Dragoon gap right there. We do have leg speed, but no other tech. So very aggressive sort of 3-gate play right now. Looks like it's gonna be just sort of I like to call it strong arm toss, but just a bunch of low tech units at an early timing and try to bust up Terran. And in accordance with that, we can see there's a nice supply lead for Shoop Dawuba, up about 25 supply. Yeah, I was gonna say, I knew you were getting up there, Ending Life. You were like hitting what, B+, A- on IC Cup, and obviously D on Fish. I mean, honestly, Fish is probably a more meaningful indicator of skill. Yeah, Tai2's gotten a lot better, I think. I mean, I realize he plays pretty all-in, but I think he's gotten to be a strong player despite his playstyle. I mean, he did beat True Touch in like a best of 9 in that whatever series, right? Didn't he win True Touch in Bisu Dagger's I forget what it's called, cup thing. He was doing his Monday night fights or something like that. Fight Club, I don't know what he's calling it. So I mean, if you're winning best of 9, ZVZ, but still, if you're winning best of 9, like against a player like True Touch's caliber, who's a micro-oriented player, like yeah. Is getting a forge. Yeah, I didn't realize True Touch was pronounced that way for a long time. I was always saying like True Tax or something. True Ta CZ? I guess you could do that too. Tai2 and the other guy that was improving for a lot, I don't know if he's continued, but I know at least a little while ago, improving a ton was Crispy Drone / B Royal. Like, I think that guy went from not anywhere to, like, B- or B pretty quick. And then I haven't... Like, the last I heard was a few months back that he was around B, but I haven't heard if he's continued to leap forward or play Brood War at the rate needed to keep getting a whole lot better. Alright, so here's our low-tech army. Big, scary low-tech army that is going to try and do some serious damage to DNH. Now, at the third... Well, with the shuttle drop, maybe, but honestly, DNH has a lot of stuff over here that you can easily pull. The only thing I don't like from DNH, and I really dislike it, is there's, like, no mines. I mean, you've scanned Protoss, you've seen that there's super, super late tech, a boatload of gateways. Like, your front should be mined up as fuck, you know? So a few more mines would be nice to see here to be prepared to counter this attack. However, none there yet. But actually, I don't even know at this point if Shoop-da-Whoopa is actually going to attack. I mean, he is taking a fourth, and he may just want to be out here on the ramp so that the second DNH comes down, he can crush it. And if you look at the supplies, you can see DNH now is doing a good job stabilizing. Train of thought just died. He's doing a good job stabilizing. You know, he's got his third base up. He's been catching up on macro. He's got quite a few factories up, 6 factories. He's going to 8, make that 9 factories now. Only 2 shops. Does have 3 gas. So he should be pretty close to being able to afford a 3rd shop if he wants it. Very passive game so far. Vessel out. So DNH is pretty close to Mac. Now definitely Shoop-da-Whoopa cannot attack, and I hope he's going to save some supply. Okay, so he does get the Stargate out, and I do really like this if he continues to hold this way. I think when you get to this point in the game, if you're not going to go for a big bust on Terran, you need to hold and get some tech in your army, because if you just max on 200 Zealot Dragoon, Terran armies is going to be too strong to deal with without any Arbiter or other tech. Vessel can see this obs, but there's no Goliath. Okay, he's making a few, probably because he's like, I don't want Protoss to just be sitting over here watching me all the time. Getting a bunch of cannons up over here would be nice to see Protoss taking, you know, a couple more bases at this time. You can see where he wants to be. He's got units to come through here, units to come down from the high ground. I mean, this is going to be a tricky situation for DNH to move out with. But if he's smart with his army, and if he can get some mines out there, kind of come forward gradually and carefully, then he should be able to work Shoop-da-Whoopa back off this high ground. Yeah, Mikami, there's a lot. I don't even know if that's right for your name. It could be Mekami, it could be a lot of things. It's pretty long cast today. Nothing like what Sail has done in the past. So, I mean, Sail did some like 10-hour casts. I can't even imagine. But yeah, I mean, shit, the first series was 3 PVTs, and those 3 PVTs alone were an hour and a half, which is like longer than any other series. Okay, so you do say it in Mekami. It could have been Mekhamis. No, it couldn't have been Mekhamis. That would only be because you have SC in that name right now. Alright, so DNH is gonna go ahead and come on down. Oh, then the last 2 PVT guys? Yeah, the last 2 PVT guys were a little bit... Well, he was just underproducing probes so much, I think is why he was slow to max. You know, if you only have 45 probes, it's hard to max really fast. Alright, so here comes DNH down the ramp, gonna siege up. That is a boatload of fucking tanks, though. Let's see what these Zealots can get done. There's not very many Vultures, and if a bunch of Zealots can get into this tank line, this attack could go fairly well from Shoop-da-Whoopa, getting some nice Zealot drops out. Are there any other Vultures in here? No, but it looks like most of the Zealots are cleaned up, and Shoop-da-Whoopa needs to turn around. And it's that tricky part of PVT where if you're literally overstay your welcome... Oh, shit. Oh no. Did not mean to actually swear there, but... I did not expect him to move back. That is not good for Shoop-da-Whoopa. So that engagement went from kind of not good to really bad. But it's tricky in PVT because there's so much damage from the Terran army that if you overstay your welcome, you have to really notice the second you're feeling those Zealots are about to run out. If you're not completely winning the fight, you've just got to back up. Or you move back and all you've got is like 5 Dragoons and you're just like, oh, fuck. But... So that was almost really good from Shoop-da-Whoopa, but one late reaction and one accidental move back into the Terran army, and that just went horrible. And now DNH has pretty much carte blanche to push around the map at will. Should be a bunch of reinforcements. Maybe he was maxed. Doesn't? Oh, no, never mind. He's got a macro round coming. I was thinking maybe he was maxed and didn't have macro going during that fight, but now it looks like there's plenty of stuff going. Army from DNH accumulating. Shoop-da-Whoopa is macroing like crazy back in his base. That's all he can do. He's got a boatload. 3 Stargate Arbiters is not something you see very often. Almost enough to make me wonder if there's a tribunal, but I've seen neither hide nor hair of it. See, DNH has established his base. He's just sitting on this high ground. I like this move. Oh, this is just probes. I thought they were units. I was like, I like this move from Shoop-Da-Wooper. And now DNH is going to come right over to Shoop-Da-Wooper's base and siege up. He's got a lot of unsieged tanks. And now going to move back onto the high ground. I love that decision. Needs to reposition. Well, okay, the tanks are going to be in a little bit of a line, but it looks like he has scared Shoop-Da-Wooper right back to his own high ground. And now is pinned back there. Let's see, Shoop-Da-Wooper, no arbiters out with any sort of spells, though, right? Because he did lose most of them in the battle. So he's got a long ways away from stasis, and DNH is being allowed to kind of work his way down here. This is some very slow pushing. I don't particularly love this tank line like this. I mean, you know, these 4 tanks can be fought without ever even engaging half the army. But he is gradually working his way down here, and at some point, Shoop-Da-Wooper is going to be forced to attack. He doesn't have recall. He doesn't have any other method. He just has to go for it at some point, or accept that he's just going to get pushed out. I mean, I guess he could try to sneak out this way. That's like the last thing, but I think he's going to go ahead and pull the trigger now. Here we go, charging in. Definitely no stasis. Lots of vultures in good position, but remember, there are a whole bunch of tanks back here on the high ground. How far can Shoop-Da-Wooper go? If he pulls back right now, and this is actually good, he does pull back immediately, which means he can do another macro of Zealots. He can keep Terran from going up onto his high ground if he keeps repeating this until he gets some options. The problem for him is that DNH is establishing a bunch of bases in the meantime, which is going to put him on equal economy, and DNH can just hold this position even if he never makes it up the high ground. And Shoop-Da-Wooper will lose out on efficiency over time, especially if you accidentally eat mines like that. And now DNH is starting to get a nice siege arc. Could use a few more vultures down here. Good EMPs going off, keeping the arbiters down. Actually, one of the arbiters somehow got missed, so that one stasis could be worth its weight in gold if you can get a good one. But oh, he wants to get in there with a vessel. Maybe even knows that one didn't get hit with the EMP and wants to come back in there after it. Would love to see him bring these tanks forward, but he now has fantastic economy. Shoop-Da-Wooper is getting some gates up in the other main, which is what he needs to buy time for. And unfortunately, Shoop-Da-Wooper is getting pushed into his natural, which is really going to weaken his army. Love this tank positioning here from DNH. Love it, love it, love it. Makes it impossible to sit on this high ground, even back here, which makes it, you have to totally re-rally your gateways, and now you're trapped back in your natural, and he doesn't have many options. The best he can do now is to start expanding to other parts of the map and macroing out of these gateways, maybe go for a recall, try to do something to force DNH away from this position. But with all of his army trapped behind here, you know, DNH has no reason to move from this position. He doesn't need to. He controls everything that matters for Shoop-Da-Wooper, and he's not in danger of recall for the moment. And now he's moving some tanks up onto the high ground, starting to get really annoying. And of course, he does have a tank and a few vultures over here. Now, I think Shoop-Da-Wooper has enough units. I love the DTs. I think that wasn't quite a large enough force DNH sent over to Shoop-Da-Wooper's base, and we can see the engagement going on now. Picks off the tank, will take care of that pretty quickly. But he is getting pushed further and further back. He's actually being forced into his main right now. He needs to do something with these arbiters, do something to get DNH to move his army anywhere other than killing all of his units. But let's face it, there is no way Protoss is ever getting up the ramp with this army unless he gets the army to just leave from here right now. DNH in complete control. All Shoop-Da-Wooper has left going for him is that he has these 2 bases, and DNH hasn't quite split up enough yet. I'm still waiting for the recall. I'm waiting for something. He's got to try something different. Certainly attacking at this army up the ramp is not going to be the answer. He's going to lose the 3rd base over here, and that is going to leave him with... Alright, finally we've got something happening that is good for Shoop-Da-Wooper. He's going to send some units over here, and it looks like this Arbiter might just have enough energy for a recall. Alright, this is good. He realizes, hey, I can't fight the army. I need to do something to draw DNH away. Let's see if he can make it work. Sneaking in a few DTs, sneaking in a few Zealots. He can definitely sow a little bit of chaos here as he sends units, small groups in a few places, and then throws a recall into the 3rd. Lots of mines, though. Let's see where he tries to go with it. Does he go for the minerals, or does he go straight for the factories and production of DNH? It looks like he's going straight for the factories. Let's see if he can get a good recall together. Should be decent. Actually, that is a little bit smaller than I would have liked to have seen. The initial mines are really good, leaving only a few Dragoons. DNH with excellent tank positioning right now. He is taking a lot of damage from these DTs right now. Scans are running out, but overall, I have to say, DNH is defending pretty well, and given his position, he can afford to have a few errors in his defense, although right now these few errors are starting to turn into big errors if he loses all of the mining from multiple bases. Still has a completely unbreakable position at the natural, but he is suffering badly at these bases. He has lifted these command centers. Oh, that was unfortunate. He totally could have scanned there and cleaned some of that stuff up, but now he cannot use that scanner. Needs to reinforce some units over there, get some vultures over there. There's no dragoons, and Shooptawooper is now macroing up a little bit this base, but the problem for Shooptawooper is his resources are getting a bit low. And this decision for DNH is interesting. I don't know if he really needs to do this. I honestly think this is kind of a mistake. Stasis going down, and Shooptawooper is going to clear out some of these tanks, and he's just going to charge in on the engagement. If there were more vultures, this could work out great, but there's a lot of zealots here, and if they can get up the ramp, they could clear out some of these tanks. Offensive recall would have been fantastic in that situation, but I really think DNH should just send some units over here, lock down these bases. I mean, let's face it, Shooptawooper's economy is really frail. Even if Shooptawooper were to break out here, it wouldn't be that bad for DNH as long as he's killed the other bases in the meantime. And Shooptawooper is still getting super annoyed with these tanks shooting down wherever he tries to hide his army. Mines continue to be incredibly effective. He wants to block this recall off, but it's being well defended by the tanks from DNH. And now finally we can see, although Transfer getting killed, we can see finally a bunch of vultures coming over. Should allow that base to get cleared out. A few more mines being laid. DNH re-sieging these tanks on the low ground, making this attack work simply because Shooptawooper can't go over and actually get at these recalled units because he eats too many from the tanks on the high ground. These Arbiters are causing some problems without the Goliaths. Has he made it? He's not making any Goliaths, so those Arbiters are going to continue to shoot away. And now, finally, we see the tank split from DNH that I think he can use to go ahead and end the game. And, of course, the other problem here is, you know, DNH is rich. Really rich. You know, he's not going to run out of money. Maybe that's also part of why he was so lackadaisical about getting this cleaned up. I mean, I realize there's a lot going on in this game, and now finally we have the big army from DNH, the big split over to the other base. I would have liked to have seen him do this earlier once he had a strong position here. That would have taken a lot of effort from Shooptawooper to break, but he's going to finish off most of Shooptawooper's economy here. I don't really think Shooptawooper has enough units to be able to defend this, although DNH is seeming a bit taxed right now. I'm trying to figure out why. It's like he's finally moving some tanks forward now, getting some good sieges off. I was like worried that something else was taking up his attention. Finally, the Arbiters are like the sole thing that's clearing this out. Did he get a recall off somewhere? He has less units. Maybe, oh no, they're hiding over here now. Okay. Trying to get a few units out from these gateways, sending a DT forward. Great. There's no science vessel with this. This DT can be really annoying. Going straight for some of the tanks in the back. Probably the most annoying tanks in that army. Gets one. Will DNH recognize? Continuing to pour units in here, trying to hold this position. And yeah, I mean, DNH is in a great spot in this game, but I really wish he'd put a little more attention here and a little less attention to this position. He does have tanks kind of everywhere, but they're not sieged up and not doing anything. He's putting it looks like he's putting all of his APM, all of his focus into killing off the main of Shooptawooper, which is really not necessary. Finally some Goliaths to get rid of these Arbiters. I mean, look at the kills on these Arbiters. 2 tanks, 3 tanks. These Arbiters have killed a lot of units from DNH. A lot of units. Finally the last Arbiter should be dying here shortly. Obviously, Shooptawooper more focused on cleaning out the army of DNH here. Gets some units over here. Unable to kill this Nexus. Does kill a few of the probes, but still a huge lead from DNH, and of course an even bigger bank. And now DNH getting these bases fully mining. Here come a bunch of zealots. There's a lot of mines though, but the mines are not in this sort of a line. They're in that sort of a line, so a few zealots are going to make it up into the base. But there is a group of vultures here. So DNH, if he decides to notice that he has vultures here, although I guess he could be forgiven for thinking they're mines, he should be able to clean this up. Yeah, he just found them, but I guess he's going to send them elsewhere? I guess he's going to send them elsewhere. Shooptawooper reinforcing this with some zealots. He's going to need decent control. Oh, never mind. If the zealots run into the army like this, that'll be fine. And now the vultures will clean up the rest of these zealots and keep the mining going pretty strong here from Shooptawooper. And GG is that. But really, that entire game was just a 15-minute, 20-minute death animation from Protoss after the initial suicide in that first attack, which was, like I said, there was probably like 60% attacking the base too much, or like attacking too long, and then 40% accidentally having the army either on move command or accidentally moving back in for the second attack. But I mean, he was in a fine position. You know, maybe could have expanded a little bit quicker, gotten arbiters out a smidge faster, but really, you know, and the first half of that attack went great for Shoop the Whooper. But if you overstay your welcome against Terran, it can get bad so fast. All right, game 2 between DNH and Shoop the Whooper. DNH as the teal Terran in the top right, and in the bottom left-hand corner as the orange Protoss, we have Shoop the Whooper. And this is game 2. You guys probably saw that there was no game 3. However, that does not mean there's not a game 3 in the series. It's not a spoiler in this case because Jealous, one of the other two organizers for this league, also likes to cast some games, and he has selected 5 or 6 that he is casting, and it is quite possible that a third game between them is one of the games he is casting. I do not know. So we'll see. It looks like Shoop the Whooper has opted for Fighting Spirit. Yep. Probably not too much I need to say about this map, because if you don't know this map, it is a solid assumption that you haven't played much Brood War. And I guess if you're totally new, well, welcome. I guess you picked an interesting cast to watch as a first cast, but pretty standard 4-player map. Pretty easy to take 3 bases, guarded by a main ramp entrance and a small ramp, and yeah. This is the map that 90% of Brood War games are played on, and another 8%, 9% are played on Circuit Breaker, and the last 1% is played on every other map in existence. Unless, of course, we count 2v2 and 3v3 games. If we count 2v2 and 3v3 games, then BGH and FMP probably make up a higher percentage. It'd be interesting to know what percentage of Brood War games played on Fish or on Icy Cup or whatever are FMP/2v2/3v3 versus 1v1. In Brood War, I would venture to guess that like 1v1 is still the larger share of games, but I'm sure there's a respectable number of 3v3s and FMP games. Whereas SC2, I would be kind of surprised if 1v1 was the most played game mode. Also, wow, DNH had that APM way the hell up there. He's probably holding a hotkey on a building because it drops so fast. It was at like 700, it went down to 200, it like, boom. It's a trick. It's obviously a completely useless trick, but if you ever want to have fancy high APM in a replay, you just hotkey something, a building, a unit, whatever, and then just hold that hotkey down. Just don't do anything else, just like hotkey something to 1 and then just hold 1. And if you hold it for like 30 seconds or a minute, your APM will start to approach about 1,000. Yeah, I'm excited for Remaster 2. It's going to be a hype few weeks at least, somewhere between a hype few weeks, I think, and a hype maybe 3 to 6 months. Where obviously a lot of people are playing. It's going to be really active. I don't think it'll be quite the same hype that there was for SC2 being released. You know, I think it'll be like within the TL community, within the RTS community, I think you'll see a lot of people that are pretty hyped and interested, checking it out, playing a few games. But honestly, although matchmaking will definitely help, I think you're going to see a lot of people that try it, play a few games, and say, these fucking controls, I can't do this shit, and peace out. And that will probably keep like overall hype high. I mean, I think you'll get new player base, and I definitely think, you know, we'll see the level of players significantly increase and stay significantly increased over the level we have now, but I don't think we're gonna like stabilize at anywhere near the numbers that existed like for SC2, you know, during its sort of heyday, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. But who knows? Maybe the game will impress and people will stick around with it more. But my suspicion is you're gonna have a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, these controls are way too hard. I can't do this shit. Fucking game's too hard." And that'll be the main like rep, the main thing that gets talked about. And then a lot of people won't stick around. But overall, I mean, still overall, it's going to be great because I mean, like, let's face it. Once Remastered comes out, we're going to have a proper working ladder, which is nice no matter who you are. However serious you are, that's always going to be a good thing. Most of the obnoxious things, hosting problems, all those are going to be gone, you know. So even if like nobody showed up for the release, it would still be fantastic. And oh, look at this, DNH got double factories. I've been too much talking about Remaster. My thoughts on what's going to happen. To see that DNH is going for the two-fact mines and speed volts, which is a pretty terrifying build. Shoop the Whooper Looks like he did 21 Nex or maybe 19 Nex, the no goon. It looks like no goon Nexus maybe. There's a few different variants. Either way, getting the Robo Facility. This is a pretty hard build to hold anytime you do any sort of expansion build. So it's going to be difficult micro. This is honestly one of the builds that gives you a better chance of holding it than others, but it will be difficult. I don't know what the deal is with Blue Storm 1.0 Mikami, or Mekami, however you want to say it. What is the catch? What is the thing that makes Blue Storm 1.0 so different than other maps? All right, this probe is about to see a boatload of Terran. Oh, good reaction from Shoop to Whooper. And DNH is charging across the map. Shoop to Whooper pretty much confined to his base. He's not, well, he's just going to have, no, he's not going to have ops by the time he gets there. It's going to be a really hard hold. Going to be a really hard hold. DNH switching into that vulture speed. And, oh, this is risky. He's moving out on the map to fight this. He's just got to be careful. I mean, Volts could run by in this situation. He's going to be outside the ramp. He's moving up to meet it. SCVs are pulled. Here comes the army from DNH. It's not super organized quite yet. Let's see what he can get done. Everything is running in now. Here come the Vultures. And this is the danger of being out in the open. The Vultures run by and put mines behind the Dragoons. There's no obs. The blocking is great. A lot of mines going off. Super Whooper is trying to run forward, but there's a good number of Marines here to soften these up. And these Dragoons are eating tremendous mines. And Super Whooper just GG's on the spot. DNH takes game 2 for a 2-0 over Super Whooper with 2 fact. I don't know, maybe people disagreed, but I think if you're facing 2 fact like that and you don't have obs, you just cannot afford to get out on the map like that because, I mean, you saw it. The Vultures saw an opportunity. They ran right by, mines behind the Dragoons. What do you do then? You're pinned. You have to just either eat massive tank damage or eat massive mine damage, both of which are bad news bears. And I think that's the end of today's cast, right? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for watching the games. Now, I guess, it's time to play some Brew War, right? Right? I think that's what I'm going to try to play. My arm is still hanging out in the sling, so it might be a little bit uncomfortable, but we'll see. We'll see if it's better than it was last weekend. But yeah, thanks for everybody watching, and for those of you just watching the cast, I will see you all next time. And if anybody wants to play Brood War games on 1.18, I will be hanging out over there playing some games. Don't know for how long, depends on how long I feel up to it, but yes, I'm going to go ahead and try to play. If it really hurts, I won't last long, but I think it's going to be okay. We'll see. We shall see. Oh, yeah. Let's see, Mikami, I need to read your announcement. There was some news that is worth being talked about here. Alright, it's probably here. Alright, so I'll just read what it's saying. Being announced, we have an announcement to make. Via ladder rankings, we will be creating our very first tournament, FBW Ladder Season 1 Tournament LST1, for the top 16 with a to-be-determined prize pool. If you wish to contribute to the prize pool, message at Mikami and he'll make it work. Everyone who participates will get prize money, with each win getting you more of the prize pool. This tournament will take place on the 29th of July, and we will cap the attendees on the 22nd. You have until then to get to the top 16. It is going to be run by the mod team, that is to say, Jealous, SEC Faust, Zeldaron, and Slurmy King, with the assistance of Shamtu, and he will be a caster as well. If any of you would like to cast a set of the tournament, please DM me or another mod. We also have another something. We have decided that you will get ladder points from participating in Have At You. We would like, it's a weird grammar thing, a mistake. We would like the community to go and participate regardless if you feel like you will get anywhere in the rankings. We believe such endeavors need our support and are critical to build up our community. To get points from Have At You, send at Mikami a picture of the bracket for proof you were in it, the match replay, and $500, and he will put the points in for you. You don't really have to send $500. I don't think. I think it's a joke. They crossed it out. So, yeah. That's what's up with that. So now you guys know. Mikami, have you announced that on TL? If you haven't announced that on TL, you totally should, because, like, I mean, people are going to hear about it in the Discord, but a hell of a lot more people are going to hear about it if you announce it on TL and in other places.
Like you'll get some notifications here, but nowhere near what you can if you announce it everywhere in the world. Okay. Jealous? Why not announce it now?